And we say good morning to you. Welcome. We're live at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City on this Wednesday. When it's Wednesday, it's Chick-Fil-A Day. And that's where we are broadcasting live again on this Wednesday, December the 6th, 2017. And kind of the countdown to Christmas. We're getting that close, so you really know you got 18 days to get it done before Christmas 2017. Show number 648, 648. They said it wouldn't last, and so as we always do, we dedicate our show to get us started. The man who hung on the cross. Unashamedly, we do that. And so the verse of the day is out of the book of Psalms 32:8 says, I will instruct thee, I will teach thee in the way thou shalt go, I will guide thee with mine eye. How about that? That's a great verse here of the Christmas season. I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way thou shalt go, I will guide thee with mine eye. And so starting a little early this morning, that's okay, because we want to get this thing rolling. We got lots of people to talk to. We've got some folks coming from the Lamplight Theater coming up here in just a little while. We've got my man Darius Hensley, who I can't thank him enough for what he did. And we're going to talk to him coming up about a cool place called The Cove. We're going to talk to him coming up here in just a few minutes. And also, we have coming up Greg Salyer, the Major League Baseball update. Lots going on in the Hot Stove League. We also have coming in here Dave Angie with the News and Neighbor. All that coming up again here on this Wednesday. Here we go. Don't forget, they are selling these like hotcakes. Connie, we still have calendars? A few? The key is a few. The key is a few. And we're still registering people for tickets to the Peach Bowl, right? We're going to give it away 2 weeks from today. Woohoo! On my show. I love Connie. Connie's cool because she said, we want to give away these tickets on your show, which is awesome. And so we're going to tell you how you can get qualified to win tickets to the Peach Bowl coming up New Year's Day in Atlanta between Auburn and Central Florida. And so that's something you will definitely want to do, because these are 2 tickets. It's a sold-out football game, but there's 2 tickets with your name on it if you win. Here is the calendar. It's called The Steers of Yesteryear. On the back of the calendar, of course, is the coupon where you can come in and swipe it and get free food every month for the calendar year 2018. The Steers of Yesteryear. They are $8 plus tax, and they're available here at the Chick-fil-A at the Crossings here in North Johnson City. We got college football. Got some coaching changes. One of the guys that Phil Fulmer was going after is off the list now, and so where it appears to be coming off the list. We've got a coach re-upping. We've got a coach moving since yesterday, so we'll take care of all that coming up here in a few minutes. And also, Darius Hensley is going to join us from The Cove, where we were on, what day was it? I guess on Monday. They're all running together on Monday, so we'll talk to him about that coming up here in just a few minutes. Let's take a look at college football real quick before we go to the break. Right out of the chute, Mike Norvell, Memphis coach, being sought after by a lot of different teams. Mike Norvell re-signing with Memphis. He will come in on a 5-year contract through 2022 worth $13 million. So, again, you're looking 13 divided by, 13 divided by 5. So, a little under, obviously, $3 million a year. But, again, pretty good bread. Norvell earned $1.86 this year. And so Mike Norvell, Memphis, he's 18-7 in 2 seasons with Memphis, including 10-2 this year, with an appearance in the American Athletic Conference title game. Again, they were rematched against UCF. They lost 62-55, something like a basketball score. They will play Iowa State nonetheless in the Liberty Bowl on December the 30th. There'll be a home game for Memphis on December the 30th in Memphis. Memphis, baby. Always trying to do a very poor Elvis imitation. Memphis, baby. Willie Taggart set to become the next head football coach at Florida State. Again, that is according to reports from ESPN and several sources. Team meeting between Taggart and Oregon players scheduled at 1:30 today. Co-offensive coordinator Mario Cristobal, a name to watch as a potential candidate to replace Taggart, will reportedly serve as the Ducks' interim coach for the Las Vegas Bowl against Boise State on December the 16th. The decision to leave Oregon and replace Jimbo Fisher after just 1 year of the Ducks comes after a busy Monday, including both recruiting to his former team and meeting his future employer to discuss the gig. And so Taggart quickly became a top target at Florida State after Jimbo Fisher announced his departure. Willie Taggart, 41, led Oregon to a 7-5 record this year in his first season. Prior to that, he went from 2-4 to 8-10 wins in 4 seasons at South Florida and got Western Kentucky back-to-back bowl games in 2011 and 2012. He is from Bradenton, Florida, and Florida State says, with his recruiting base, and he's a strong recruiter in Florida, so they're looking forward to having him as the head coach for the Florida State Seminoles. Let's see what else going on. Oh, I got a big problem with this one right here. Florida State redshirt sophomore safety Derwin James announcing he is declaring his 2018 NFL draft. I don't have any problem with that, but he's not playing in the bowl game against Southern Miss. I got a big problem with that. If you're on the team, we saw this happen last year. I told you then you're going to see a precedent set, and we have, and here we are. This guy's second on the team in tackles this year with 84. Led the team in pass breakups as a sophomore safety with 11. He is a redshirt sophomore safety, Derwin James, leaving Florida State. Don't have a problem. Well, I do have a problem with that, but it is what it is. But he has elected not to play in the bowl game. So he's letting his teammates down, and we're going to hear this throughout the bowl season. And this makes me mad at a wet hen. If you're on the team, you're on the team. Plain and simple. If you're on the team, you're on the team. And you need to be there for your coaches, your teammates certainly, the fan base, everybody involved in Florida State football or in any football school or any football team at any school, I should say. You should be there. You should be on the team, period. And honor your scholarship, honor your commitment you made to the team. It's not about me. It's about we. But unfortunately, we're in a society where it is about me and not about we. All right, I'll be pounding this drum all during the bowl season because this won't be the first one that says, well, I'm just not going to play in the bowl game. I'm going to protect myself. Protect yourself? Yes, for the draft, so I don't get hurt, so I'll go high in the draft. Well, last time I checked, if it wasn't for the football team you're playing for, you wouldn't even be in the draft. That's just me. I'm old school. So, anyway, that's what's going on. Derwin James leaving and heading out to the NFL draft and foregoing the football game with Southern Miss on December the 27th. Now, before we go any further, we'll take a break, and Darius is here with us, but how about I'm still trying to put my arms around Jimbo Fisher's contract. $75 million guaranteed. He makes, starting last Saturday, I'm not making this up. After the show yesterday, I had a couple of people text me and said, did you make this up? I am not making this up. As of Saturday, Jimbo Fisher makes $20,548 a day for the next 10 years. He does not have to win any football games at Texas A&M. He's still going to get paid. Texas A&M on the hook, actually it's the donor base, on the hook for $20,548 per day to pay this guy. Landed at College Station, came off the plane on a red carpet. A red carpet? There's only one, in my opinion, deserves a red carpet. This one, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, not football coach. But anyway, that's a whole other story. $20,548 a day for Jimbo Fisher, the head coach at Texas A&M. But you know, they tell me that college football, it's not a business. It's just amateur sports, right? You believe that? I'm from Pakistan, and I run a French fry factory in Pakistan. Give me a break. All right, quick break. We'll come right back. We're going to get him in here ready to go. Can't wait to talk about this right here. This is a picture of the Cove, where I was Monday with this gentleman, and it may forever change my life. I'm telling you, it's awesome stuff. Quick break. We'll come right back. We've got coming up college basketball, more college football. We've got coming up at the bottom of the hour Angie Grigsby, April Klish, Elizabeth Klish. These folks are involved in the latest production, Lamplight Theater. I want to get them on. Top of the hour, Greg Sauger talking Major League Baseball. Later in the show, Dave Angie from the News and Neighbors. So we're loaded for bear and ready to roll. But, man, Darius Hensley joins us next year on show number 648 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's model year closeout with gym employee pricing and 20% off on 17 models at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. It's a great time to take advantage of closeout savings on our selection of over 300 Chevys to choose from. 17 1500 work truck, $23,995. 17 track, $17,548. 17 cruise, $16,488. 17 spark, $10,950. 17 Malibu, $18,985. Closeout savings, Saturday parts and service hours, and shopping online 24/7 will leave you asking, how do they do that?
Hello, this is Phil Pipkin, owner of Phil's Dream Pit. The holidays are here, and Phil's Dream Pit has the perfect gift idea for you. We have our exclusive Phil's Dream Pit brand of barbecue sauces. 2 16-ounce bottles of original and Sweet Fire in a convenient gift box. A great gift for any coworker, friend, relative. Anyone would love it. And the best part, it's only $10 plus tax. Phil's Dream Pit barbecue sauces, the perfect Christmas gift. Call 349-6437 or at philsdreampit.com. Phil's Dream Pit, the quest for perfect barbecue.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us again on this Wednesday. We are live at Chick-Fil-A, The Crossings in North Johnson City. Thank you for being with us wherever you may be. Hello to AT and all the folks up in West Virginia watching. We appreciate that very, very much. And so we've got a gentleman on here. I want to get him in and hit the right buttons. And here he is. This is a guy that I want to be forever, I'm going to be forever grateful for. Called me up and said, do you want to go to the Cove, which has always been on my bucket list over in Western North Carolina? I said, the Cove? You can get into the Cove? He said, yeah, I think I know a few people over at the Cove. So we got him, or he got me, loaded me in a truck, and away we went. And so we had a heck of a time at the Cove. Darius Hensley, and cannot thank you enough, my friend. What an experience.
No problem.
Oh, man.
I'm still on cloud nine.
I am too. I am still on cloud nine. That's a great way to put it. For folks out there, you know, I went in, it's kind of interesting because I went in when we were there and took my little dinky cell phone and shot some video, if you will, or live streamed it inside the lobby there at the training center, the Billy Graham Training Center. And so it got a lot of interest from folks all over that watch anyway normally on my shows, West Virginia and Kentucky and Louisiana and Florida and different places. So if you've not seen it, go to my personal Facebook page. It says Tom Taylor, and there's 3 sets of videos I shot. One that we're going to talk about in a minute, one inside the chapel, one inside the lobby of the Billy Graham Training Center, and then one is went outside and shot some of the mountains. So if you've not seen that, check that out. It's right there on my personal Facebook page, Tom Taylor. But Darius, for folks out there, again, who've not seen, let me put this up here as you begin to tell us what the Cove, here's a picture. There is a shot inside right on the ground of the Cove in Western North Carolina, right outside of Asheville, Black Mountain. Tell us what the Cove's all about, would you please?
The Cove's only about an hour from the Tri-Cities, and in 1972, Billy and Ruth Graham purchased the property, about 1,400 acres there, and in '87, I think it was, the dream came true. And this program here was for rest, to relaxation and renewal and retreat. And of course, this is open year-round. It's there for ministers, their wives, military. Most of the programs, Tom, are free. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's a place where people from 25, 30, 40 states that we've been there. They're from everywhere. And I'd just like for the people, especially in the Tri-Cities and the surrounding area, to know that there's a lot of programs that go on. Some of the just past week, the Point of Grace, the group was there for 3 days. Mm-hmm. Some of the upcoming events for next year, we've got 2 pages here of Chip Ingram. You can go on that the people will be there for this coming year. And the big thing, most of these programs, seminars, are free. Mm-hmm. There on the grounds, we have 2 hotels, lodging. And of course, if you want to stay there, that's a charge. And also, the dining is there for 3 meals a day. And believe me, food is great. My wife Elizabeth and I have been over for several years, and you can't keep us away every 2 or 3 months. We got to go and get back on that cloud.
Recharge that battery, absolutely. So,
you got it.
Jason Crabb, the Collingsworth family, David Phelps, Jim Henry, Chip Ingram, James Brown, some of the folks again that Tony Evans, man, I love Tony Evans, Michael Card, Will Graham, we're going to talk about him coming up in a moment. Point of Grace was there last week. This is all, by the way, on the website. Chip Ingram, we miss you back over there again. Jerry Vines, C.C. Winans, Jonathan Falwell, I think you know that name, Kay Arthur and David Arthur, Selah. The group SELAH, they're going to be there in November. So this goes all the way through next year. The Annie Moses Band, speakers and singers, Fernando Ortega, Phillips, Craig, and Dean. So all this is at the Cove in western North Carolina. And so, and then on the back, there are folks that you can, there's places you can actually stay on the property, on the grounds.
On the property, they have the Shepherd's Inn and the Pilgrim Inn. And all of this is very reasonable. You can go to the different seminars and events and stay off campus if you like, but we prefer to stay there. And you go in, and it's another world. And I think my wife Elizabeth and I have always said it's the next thing to heaven. You go over there, you rest, relax. Believe me. And I think, Tom, you saw that last week. Tom and I had the run of almost the entire property there. And when we went in, of course, we met Will Graham and his able assistant there, Eric, and they gave us a 10 or 15-minute tour, so to speak. And then we went over to the radio station, 106.9, and we met, of course, Tammy, and we got a couple of milkshakes, I think, while we were there. And, of course, Jim and Mike and the rest of the guys, John Wood, at the radio station. I think they said the radio station had a listening of about 400,000. Was that right?
400,000, yeah.
400,000.
Across 7 states. So
and
pretty impressive. And so we were there. Thecove.org is the website for you to check out. And so you can stay there. I mean, everything is on the website. The Shepherd's Inn, the Pilgrim's Inn are the two places on property that you can stay. The food and the reservations and all that. Again, the website is thecove.org. Phone number is 1-800-950-2092. Of course, that's going to be on the website, so probably the easiest thing to remember if you're driving down the road wherever you are, just go into thecove.org. Again, it's a phenomenal place. When you go there, it's like, I guess, serene, calming, chance to reflect. I mean, it's just very, I'm not even sure. How would you describe it?
You leave all your troubles on Interstate 40 and go in, and you won't regret it.
No.
And it is on exit 55 off of Interstate 40, and from the Tri-Cities, just go 26 across the mountain and get on 240 and go east and hit 40 towards Statesville, and about an hour and 10 minutes from Johnson City.
Yep. We're talking again to Darius Hensley, see on the screen with the Cove, and of course he lives here in the Tri-Cities and took me over there for the very first time. We met Will Graham, who is an evangelist. He is Billy Graham's grandson. He is Franklin Graham with Samaritan's Purse and the Shoebox program at Christmas. He heads that up, of course. Franklin Graham is the son of Billy Graham, and Will Graham is Franklin's son, and, of course, Billy Graham's grandfather, and he's following in his daddy and his granddaddy's footsteps, and he is coming to the Tri-Cities in April, which is, we're going to be heavily involved promoting the whiz out of that because Will is coming our way in April. Tell me about it.
Will be at Freedom Hall, and we're going to fill the hall. I can't wait. I've already reserved my front seat right on the front row. I think my wife and I both. Tom, would you like a seat beside of us?
I'd like to sit right there with you.
Okay, we're going to be on the front row.
Front row.
We do have offices set up right now in Johnson City at 207 North Boone Street. That's Suite 600 in Johnson City. We do have a website. It's tcrcelebration.org is a website for our local celebration coming here. All churches in the Tri-Cities received a letter sometime back, and if your church didn't get a letter or you're interested, just call 423-461-0057, and we'll get the material out for you, and we'll try to get if you need a representative to come to one of our meetings. Prayer breakfast. There's a prayer breakfast coming up for ministers after, I think it's in January, first week in January. And our first one, I think, is in Blunttville Methodist Church there. So just get in touch with us. Call this number. This office is open from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
We're talking to Darius Hensley. See on the screen coming up. We're going to take a look at college basketball. We've got some National Hockey League, the NBA. Also at the bottom of the hour, got some folks coming in here from the Lamplight Theater to promote what they're doing. Coming up in about 10 or 15 minutes. Top of the hour, we got Greg Salyer talking Major League Baseball. It's a busy time. It's called the Hot Stove League. The off-season trades and rumor of trades and who's going here and who's going there and who's going to get Giancarlo Stanton. Where's he going to end up? And so we got lots to talk about with baseball. Then Dave Angie joins us a little bit later on in the show as well. TC, make sure I get that for you again. It is TCR, celebration.org. By the way, this is not his first. I mean, he's been an evangelist for a number of years, so this is not like it's his first one. He's been all over the place, Will Graham, and so he is coming to the Tri-Cities, and so following his grandfather and his father's footsteps to lead people to the Lord. And so the Will Graham celebration, April the 27th, 28th, and 29th at Freedom Hall, Johnson City. Look up on that camera again one more time and tell these folks about the Cove and about Will Graham before we go.
Well, Will is a well-known item, and many groups are looking and wanting Will. We're lucky to have Will in the area. He just came from a crusade celebration in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Before that, he was in Newfoundland. Before that, he was in Canada, Alabama. He was in Mexico City. He's all over the world. And, of course, his dad is in Hanoi, I think, coming up next week for a crusade. So Will is well known, and we're very fortunate to have him in the area.
There you go.
And we need to get the word out to everybody. And if your church out there, organization, if you'll get in touch with the number we gave you a moment ago, we'll try to get information for you.
You're awesome. We'll get you back in real soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Will Graham's coming again, a crusade, April the 27th, 28th, and 29th at Freedom Hall, Johnson City. Got to meet him on Monday, the grandson of Billy Graham. Woo, I was over the top.
Right.
Darius took me to the Cove, and I got to get in there. I'm talking, when you go inside that chapel, if you go on my website, you can see where I went through and videoed the chapel and the lobby of the Billy Graham Training Center at the Cove. Man, if I don't get you fired up, your wood's wet. I'm here to tell you.
I'm going to twist your arm and see if I can get you to go back.
Lord have mercy. I'd shut this thing down right now and head out. I'm telling you. It is an awesome place. I got a chance to meet Will Graham, who's coming for this crusade. He's going to be on the show. I think he said the week after next we'll get him on the show. He's going to come in person some. He's going to come on the phone or talk to me on the phone. So we're all about promoting the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. You're the man. Thank you for taking on Cowboy over there.
Appreciate
Good stuff. Yep. Quick break. We'll be right back, and we go from the beast to the beauty. We got this young lady coming in from the Lamplight Theater talking about what they're doing. It's called A Midwinter's Carol. Angie Grigsby joins us next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call, and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here, the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and done. We're your one-and-done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400, your one-and-done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
The 2018 Cal Calendar in now for a limited time at Chick-Fil-A, The Crossings in North Johnson City. A 20th anniversary retrospective titled Steers of Yesteryear, including a card with a wide range of free food offerings across the Chick-Fil-A menu. Only $8 plus tax, but hurry, supplies are limited. Each month gives you the chance to collect free Chick-fil-A menu items. The offers vary each month. But hurry, supplies are limited. The 2018 Chick-fil-A Steers of Yesteryear calendar on sale now at Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
We're back with the Tom Dover Sports Show. There's my next guest, our buddy Angie Grigsby from the Lamplight Theater. She said, I'm going to talk a little sports for just a second, then we're going to come back and get her on. And I may get him on, too, because her son was awesome in the program Yuletide, the show Yuletide. So I may get him on as well here coming up in a few minutes. We are live. Let's see, there we go. Thank you. We are live at Chick-fil-A, The Crossings in North Johnson City. Again, let's talk about the calendar real quick. $8 calendar. She said there's a few left. I mean, there was a guy last Wednesday, came in and bought 250. So this is what's left. It's $8. It's called the Steers of Yesteryear. Here on the back it is the free card. You swipe it, get free food every month. And so the Steers of Yesterday 2018 Cal Calendar, the 20th anniversary edition. And as Connie said, there's a few left, and that's it. And so once they're gone, they're gone. They can't go back and reload the wagon. All right, college basketball last night's running down before we got 4 upsets. Ball State knocks off Notre Dame by 3 last night. It was 22nd ranked Nevada stopping Texas Tech again in overtime. Texas A&M 7th ranked Aggies losing to Arizona. Arizona got them 67-64. Nebraska knocks off 14th ranked Minnesota by 10, 78-68. And again, the big one, of course, Ball State. Little old Ball State at 5-4 beat Notre Dame, 9th-ranked team in the country, 80-72 was the final in men's college basketball. Tonight, top 25 goes like this. You've got top-ranked, Duke won last night. Duke, no problem with St. Francis of Pennsylvania, beat them 124-67. Other winners last night, 20th-ranked TCU beat Southern Methodist. West Virginia, 18th-ranked Mountaineers with a 7-point win over 15th-ranked Virginia. Good ball game. And they beat the Cavaliers by 7. Wichita State, the Shockers, 6th ranked over South Dakota State. Also, Miami defeated Boston University by 15. The Hurricanes 10th in the country. 12th ranked Gonzaga and Villanova. Villanova got them by 16. Villanova 4th ranked in the country. And then 3rd ranked Michigan State by 10 over Rutgers. Top 25 tonight, North Carolina, the defending national champions, and 11th in the country, hosting Western Carolina in Chapel Hill. 13th ranked Xavier tonight takes on Kent State. 5th ranked Florida, the Gators, will take on Loyola. And 2nd ranked Kansas will host Washington tonight in men's top 25 college basketball. NBA from last night, your winners, Toronto, Oklahoma City, and Washington. Tonight, your schedule, Sacramento, Cleveland, Chicago, and Indiana. Orlando, the Magic, hosting Atlanta. The Dallas Mavericks will be in Boston to battle the best record in the major leagues. Best record in the NBA, the Boston Celtics at 21-4. Memphis and New York. Detroit and Milwaukee. New Orleans hosting Denver. Golden State, the defending world champions, will be in Charlotte to battle the Hornets tonight. San Antonio hosting Miami. And the LA Clippers hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves again in the NBA. And finally, the National Hockey League last night on the ice. It was Nashville skating past Dallas 5-2. The Predators now 18-7. Other winners: New Jersey skates past Columbus, St. Louis skates past Montreal, Tampa Bay 6-2 win over the Islanders of Tampa Bay. The Pittsburgh Penguins defeated by the Rangers in Pittsburgh last night. Rangers skate past them 4-3. Detroit over Winnipeg. Buffalo skates past Columbus. Vancouver, the Canucks, I love to say that, the Canucks, they beat Carolina in Vancouver. LA, the Kings skating past Minnesota, and Vegas, the Golden Knights, with a 4-3 shootout winner over Anaheim last night in Vegas. Tonight, National Hockey League, Calgary at Toronto, the Blackhawks in Washington, Edmonton, the Oilers hosting the Philadelphia Flyers, and Ottawa, the Senators, and Anaheim tonight against the Ducks. And that's your NBA, college basketball, and the National Hockey League from last night, and your schedule for tonight. Big night last night in high school basketball. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. We'll take a quick break, come right back. She's here. She's ready. And we're going to bring her on, let her talk along with Aiden. Might as well talk, shouldn't you? You going to get some lunch? You like Chick-Fil-A? Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Give me some taters. I like this guy. How old are you, sir? 12 going on 24. I like it. Yeah, he's a neat kid. Not a kid, young man. Quick break. We'll talk to his mama. We'll talk to him about the latest production at Lamplight Theater coming up next. We're live here, show number 648 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Tomorrow, Champion Chevrolet. Friday, we'll be at Food City in Eastman Road on a Food City Friday. And so we'll take a break. We'll come right back. And Angie joins us next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
It's model year closeout with gym employee pricing and 20% off on 17 models at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. It's a great time to take advantage of closeout savings on our selection of over 300 Chevys to choose from. 17 1500 work truck, 23,995. 17 track, 17,548. 17 cruise, 16,488. 17 spark, 10,950. 17 Malibu, 18,985. Closeout savings, Saturday parts and service hours, and shopping online 24/7 will leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology has just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
We're back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. She's not April, she's not Elizabeth, but she is Angie. So we've got her in the house. Let's get her up on camera because, as I told Darius when he got up, he'd be the beast and this lady would be the beauty because she can sing like a bird. I saw her Yuletide last month over at the Lamplight Theater in Kingsport. A phenomenal show. And you've been told that 1,000 times in your life. I'm sure that you can sing like a bird because you can. And now you're telling me your sister sang for the Billy Graham Crusade.
Years ago.
And her name is?
Stacy Caraway.
Cool. That's really cool. So, anyway, and I'm not normally starstruck. That's not really who I am, but for me to be in the same presence of Will Graham,
oh yeah,
this man has brought a lot of folks to the Lord. Billy Graham's grandson, and I'm just staring like Gomer Powell. I don't know what to say, like, but I made conversation the best I could. I hope I didn't embarrass myself, but for somebody who has that kind of impact on people for eternity. Oh, absolutely. That's a whole lot more important than a basketball football star, in my opinion. So, anyway, he is coming in April to Freedom Hall, Johnson City. But she's involved in a production called A Midwinter's Carol. For folks out there who have no clue, before we get into the particular production, brag and tell folks what the Lamplight Theater is all about.
It's a gospel-centered theater, which means every show is crafted around Jesus and the story of his death and resurrection, which gives us all the opportunity for eternal life and relationship with him and with God.
Hit that bell. You roll. This is Pastor Grigsby here, so we may pass the plate. But, yeah, it's neat. And so we do different productions, or we don't, but you guys do. You just finished Yuletide. I was there twice. I can assume, from what I saw, the crowds are really good.
Yes. Normally our Christmas crowds are larger crowds, and then also Foggy Valley, which is a comedy that we do that has really good crowds as well, and Easter as well.
Yeah. Her son was one of the leads in the show, the Yuletide, so he's here. He's grinning like a fox in the hen house. We're going to get him on here in a minute. His name is Aiden, and he is a very talented young man, I can tell you. The fact that he can memorize all that stuff he had to memorize blows me away, but we're going to talk to him in a minute. Tell me about A Midwinter's Carol. It's a neat production. It's kind of an English-based production. Is that right?
Yes. If you want to see some rednecks try to use an English accent, this is the perfect show to see.
Some rednecks try to be English. It's good. They pull it off, though, don't they?
Somewhat, yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Some of them lean more towards the Irish. Some sound a little Jamaican, but it all works out in the end.
Well, you might be a redneck if you try and be English and come across Jamaican. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's great. So, anyway, tell me the premise and kind of tease us about what Midwinter Carol is all about.
Well, it basically sets up sort of a story, a love story that happened in the past, and you sort of see where those people ended up and why they ended up there, and then how they almost come back together, but there's a lot of sacrifice involved in that love story, and the reasons behind them not going forward with the love that they had at one point for each other.
Won't ask you to sing here, although I have people do that before in the past, just belt one out, but I won't do that to you today. But how did you get involved in theater / singing? I mean, at what point did you begin, and at what point did you know that, you know what, I can do this? Because this could be motivational for somebody out there watching thinking, wow, this is a pretty cool story. So how'd you get started?
Ever since I was a child, we did programs at church where we would do little cantatas and different plays, and had some wonderful mentors. Miss Peggy Bible in Morristown really invested in my sister and I and encouraged us, and it was always sort of a side note to other things I was doing in my life, and was called to ministry after I had my children, and knew that I was going to be involved in ministry. Didn't know exactly what that meant. And I've done everything from teaching Sunday school to working in the dramas and plays, working with children in children's choir. And then when we found the theater, Lamplight, that was sort of, I guess, the pinnacle of what I'd always imagined my children would be able to be involved in, and myself, as far as our gift sets and what God had called me to do.
It's volunteer, Lamplight Theater. It's
Yes.
a volunteer situation. So when you go to these productions, these people are devoting a lot of their time. It takes a lot of time to go through productions and rehearsals and get ready, and it's not just we flip a switch and go, oh, we're going to come out and do this. It's rehearsals weeks upon weeks before, right?
It's a major commitment, yes.
Yeah, and so the proof's in the pudding. It's awesome. The Lamplight Theater, the website is lamplighttheater.com. Yeah.
It's theater spelled with TRE at the end.
Which rednecks like me would go ER, but it's RE at the end,
Yes.
so there you go.
Theatre.
the rednecks trying to talk English coming across Jamaicans. I'll remember that the whole time now. It's good. So the production runs how long now? How many weeks?
It runs all the weeks of December. So I believe it runs into the last week of December.
Billy Wayne, of course, we've had him on the show. He heads the place up, of course, and he does. It's interesting. He writes a lot of these productions, doesn't he?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Your next production you're in will be what? The Easter production?
The next one, I will be doing David after right after Easter. We'll do David.
Yeah. Easter comes early this year, too. I think it's the early part of April, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is early. So, anyway, it's Midwinter's Carol. Who are some of the folks in this particular production that we've known?
There's one fellow that's used to be in Pigeon Forge. His name is Jeb, and he plays one of the leads. There's another young lady named Elizabeth Cleash, who I've gotten to watch grow from just being one of the extras to now she's one of the leads in this show. Trying to think of some other the names that might be recognizable from other shows. We've got a lot of new folks actually in this production, which is really cool.
Well, look who they're here. April's in the house and Elizabeth's in the house. They didn't make it. So before I turn this thing over to Aiden, look in the camera and tell him why it's important to, well, let's see, I'm going to get you to preach a little bit. Talk about what Christmas means to you, and then talk about the importance of coming to a Midwinter's Carol Lamplight Theater.
All right. For me, Christmas is all about giving. That was the moment when God gave us the greatest gift we could ever have. And so when we have an opportunity at Christmas to really give to others, I try to look for places, and I'm not really good at organizing ththings myself, but I like to find places that have a good organization system and give me an opportunity to go and give in the community. And Lamplight Theater certainly does that. There were 115 children that were helped with the Comfort and Joy party this past Saturday, and their families. They were given a phenomenal Christmas, gifts for them and their siblings, as well as a dinner for the family, and they got to see the show. So things like that really stir my heart and make me want to participate in how God is at work. This show in particular just reminds us all what Christmas is really about, and that's Jesus and about love, and sometimes the sacrifice that love requires.
Would you go ahead and hit that too?
Oh.
Thank you.
I'm going to get you a new bell for
It's
Christmas.
wimpy. You know, and I said this yesterday. I went to an Office Depot place to get a new bell, and they said, we're sold out. I said, who buys bells? It's like, okay, so have to get me a new bell because this is kind of wimpy. Aiden's kind of a sissy bell, you know? All right, so anyway, we have a verse of the day. We always dedicate the show. This shows I have my fingers in the Lord's belt loops. I say that every day unashamedly. This is his show. And so we always start with the verse. I've already read it once, but to hear this young lady read it would be nice. So if you would, please, today's verse is
Psalm 32:8. I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way you should go. I will guide thee with mine eye.
There you go. I appreciate you coming. You hungry?
Thank you. Yes, I'm starved.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. I want to feed her, so I'm going to let you switch the headsets on, and let's bring Aiden on real quick because I want him
or
to.
Maybe Elizabeth, since she's in the show, she can talk about.
Well, we got Aiden here too. While he's here, let's get him. Then we'll let him, and then we'll get Elizabeth too. We'll get them all four on there.
Great.
April's going to be on talking about how the festival of trees went at Meadowview, a fundraiser for the organization. And so, by the way, you can go to lamplighttheater.com or org. Com.
It's com.
Com. Lamplighttheater.com. If you would like to get involved, I'm sure Billy Wayne won't care me to say this, as far as financially underwriting throughout the year. You know, if you give $50 a month.
Yeah.
There's $600 they didn't have, and they don't have any funding. They can't call home office and say, you know, we need a little extra money this time for this or that. It's all based on what folks give. So, you know, $20 a month, $240 they didn't have. So you can kind of do the math. But lamplighttheater.com, if you would prayerfully consider that. I don't think Billy Wayne would care if I said that, would he?
No, it'd be a wonderful opportunity of giving for you, even if you can't get involved in the activities of the theater. If you want to give financially, it certainly would fuel what we're able to do.
Sure. Coming up, we're going to talk high school basketball. We're also going to talk baseball at the top of the hour with Greg Salyer. And then also at the bottom of the hour, right around 12:30, Dave Angie shows up, talk about some more sports and get the very latest on who's going to be the Tennessee football coach. If you ever coached any football, would you like to be the coach?
No.
Not interested?
No.
Football's not your
sport?
sport?
Rules. Too many rules.
Too many rules. Just go play and have fun.
Just when I start to cheer if something's been done wrong, and penalty, flag on the play. I can't keep up with it all.
There you go. Were you a Hurricane or a Trojan growing up?
I was, well, my husband was a Hurricane. I was a Trojan.
You were Trojan. So is there a little when East plays West, there's still a little rivalry in the house.
Well, now my son is playing against East, so we just vote for him.
There you go. Go Hurricanes. All right. Let's get Aiden in here real quick. Again, don't forget, Cash for Christmas. If you want to swap out the headsets, that'd be good. Cash for Christmas. Between now and next Friday, every time you share or retweet this show, you put yourself in the running for $100 cash. We're going to give away next Friday at Food City in Bluffville. Somebody's going to win this money. Might as well be you. So all you have to do is share or retweet our show. Again, now through December the 14th, which is next Thursday. Winners announced next Friday. One $100 cash winners, some other multiple prize winners will be there. And we want that to be you. And again, as you see, one share or retweet equals one entry. There's no limit on the number of entries that you can make. So there you go. Elizabeth, get in the hot seat. You're on deck, young lady. So let's get this man on right here. There he is. Hello, Aiden. How are you?
I'm good.
Tell me the name of your character in the show Yuletide.
My character's name was Bobby, and my sister's name was Susie.
Mm-hmm.
So.
A lot of memorization.
Yeah.
I'm sitting out there watching, thinking, how old are you, by the way?
I'm 12.
12 years old. I'm thinking, how does this kid do it? You had to sing, had to learn the lines, of course. Lots and lots of rehearsals, right?
It was a rush.
Mm-hmm. It was a rush.
That's all I gotta say about that.
That's all I gotta say. Good. So tell me what it's like to be a 12-year-old guy up in front of these big audiences doing this show.
Well, it kind of gives you a big responsibility to, because we do these shows for the glory of God, and it gives you such a big responsibility as an actor to show these people the Lord. So it's nerve-wracking and it's fun. There's some ups and downs, thick and thins, and we just run through it together. So
you were nervous? No, you were cool as a cucumber. You weren't nervous. I never spotted any nervousness. You were nervous?
You'd be surprised. Like the first night, I was shaking in the curtain before I went out. So
yeah.
But
you're cool. You did it and got it done. The Lord helped you right through it, didn't He?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, are you in this production?
Midwinter's Carol. I was last year, but unfortunately not this year.
So what's the next one for Aiden? What's next on the radar for Aiden?
We're doing David next.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're gonna be with your mom and David?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're not at the Lamplight Theater, do you play ball or are you a video guy?
I usually play video games. I have my own YouTube channel and I've been working on it. So.
You have your own YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Well, look up there and promote it. Tell people where they can find you.
If you guys go on YouTube, just look up the Merpsters 225. It's me and my friend's channel, and we could really use some support. So, yeah.
Write that down. I'm going to go home tonight and watch it and see what it is. Write it down again so I can promote that for you. I'll tell people about it all the time.
Yeah.
Go ahead and write that down and then.
Alright.
Okay. This is Aiden, so. You told your mom what you want for Christmas yet?
I haven't made up a list yet, no.
Okay. What's the 6th? Just to let you know that we're like 18 days out, so. You want to tell me and I can.
Maybe, I don't know.
So this is the Merpsters 225.
Yeah, 225, yeah.
MERPSTR. Okay, I'm gonna. What is the Merpster?
We just made up with it. We just kind of. Me and my friends, we just had a brainstorm, so we just did it.
The Merpsters 225 YouTube, right? So that's on YouTube. I gotta make sure I check this out.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, please do, because we need help. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, we desperately need help.
Merry Christmas to you, big guy.
Merry
you
Christmas
were awesome
to
in
you.
Yuletide. The Lord's got big plans for you, son. So keep on keeping on. All right, let's go ahead and bring in the next young lady, Miss Elizabeth. She is in the production called The Midwinter's Carol. We're live here again. We're talking about the Lamplight Theater. We do have sports coming up. We got some high school basketball we're going to tell you all about. And so Aiden is out, and Elizabeth Grigsby. No, I'm sorry, Elizabeth is in. Let's get her back on number 2, and there she is. She is Elizabeth. Hello, young lady. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. How old are you?
13.
13 years old. How did you get involved? Is this your first production at Lamplight?
No, this is my 7th, I think.
You're a veteran. You're a pro, right? A veteran. So how did you get involved? How did you get started?
My next door neighbor's older sister does a lot of things at Lamplight, and so she wanted to do something, and we're like best friends, so she just dragged me along.
She drug you along, and you got hooked. What was the first production you were in?
Come Alive.
Come Alive?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So you're in Midwinter's Carol. Tell me a little about it. What particular part do you play?
I play Nora, and she's a character in the family, and she's the youngest sister of the family. And the show is about our dad, who comes back from the military, and
now he's been gone, right? He's been gone. He's been out serving the country. He comes back, okay.
And he doesn't want to trust Jesus because his father died in a tragic accident.
So he's mad at God.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we go to a Christmas service at the church, and on the way back it storms, and I don't want to ruin anything.
No, don't tell anymore. Just tease it. That's good. So I kind of get the gist of where we're headed with this thing now. Miss Angie said you guys have to speak English accent. Do you speak English? Or is it more red?
It's awful.
It's not awful, or you wouldn't be in the play. So is this fun? How many folks are in the play, do you know? Ballpark number? A lot of folks involved?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So has it started yet? When's opening night?
It has already started. Opening night was the 1st.
First, okay. And it's going to run through, what did Angie say? Did you tell me when it was going to run through? Through all of December? All through the month. Okay, so we got a couple more weeks. We're going to have April in here in just a second, so this is cool. And so you are Nora, so when I come to watch this, I'm looking for Nora, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, do you have siblings in the show too? Just you? Just you and your mom and your dad, correct? Basically.
Oh, in the show?
Mm-hmm.
No. I have a little brother, an older brother, and an older sister.
Cool. All right. Midwinter's Carol. Awesome. You're a 7th production, so you're a pro. What do you want to be when you grow up?
I don't know. I like science.
You like science?
So.
Cool. Have you made your Christmas list out yet?
Parts of it.
Parts of it. Very good. Give me some taters. Nice young lady. Good luck to you. I'm going to come over and watch it because Nora came to be on my show. I'm going to come watch Nora in Midwinter's Carol. So good luck to you, all right? All right, let's switch one more time. Let's get her mom in here. Again, we're live here. As we said, there's the cash for Christmas, as we told you. Share and retweet. Put yourself in the running to win $100 cash, and we're going to do that again coming up again next Friday. We'll announce the winner. You can do it through next Thursday. I know Renee McNeil and Elizabeth is wearing it out. One share retweet equals 1 entry. There's no limit on the number of entries you can make. And so, again, good luck. Somebody's going to win $100 cash next week. There is Miss April. Hello, young lady. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Now, we had you on at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance 3 weeks ago, talking about the Festival of Trees. Tell me about that.
Well, it was awesome. The generosity of the donors and the people in the Tri-City area, and even a few that were traveling through from out of town, allowed us to provide an amazing Christmas for about 115 students, their families, and their siblings. They got to come last Saturday. It was a Comfort and Joy party. We had a big time with eating, and they got to go see Midwinter's Carol. They had a special show. Time for them.
Awesome.
They got to see that. Elizabeth said they were a fantastic audience. Laughed at all the funny parts and got sad at all the sad parts. Mm-hmm. Then they also had a meal, a box that they can take home so they can prepare a nice Christmas meal at home too.
Awesome.
So couldn't ask for a better situation than to see these children many of them were adopted off of the tree for some of their gifts, and then Lamplight filled in the gaps with all the money from Festival of Trees.
We were blessed to do that. It was really cool because we took 3 and we went out, and me and the girls and I write English, proper English. The girls and I went out shopping for the 3 kids, and they really got into it, and so that was neat. And then this is a missionary extension of Lamplight. Folks may not know that they help kids not just at Christmas, but you have a camp in the summertime too, right?
Yes, and these children, or the way they find out about them, some of it's word of mouth, some of the service organizations in the Tri-Cities area will bring the children to their attention, but they're children who are at risk for developing problems, and unfortunately a lot of them may not have an intact family, and so when they get involved with Lamplight, they're not just to get to go to camp and to get the Christmas gifts, but the whole idea is the mentoring. And I know personally, my son, David, that's 16, they called him at last night to come in for the Browder concert and run the snow machine and the fog machine. And he talked about how nice it was, those people backstage. He was like, they were just as nice on stage as they were off stage. He said they were genuinely great people. And so he got to see some Christian men and women being the light on stage, but more importantly, being the light off stage. And that's what we do at Lamplight.
Yep, it's awesome. LamplightTheater.com. She was like, .com. I keep wanting to say .org, but it's .com. So Angie keeps correcting, making sure I get it. LamplightTheater.com. That's right, because they do things year round. How did you get involved?
I got involved through my daughter Elizabeth, as she was saying. When they're little like that, you don't want to just drop them off.
Sure.
So I stayed and ended up helping. Sometimes it's backstage, telling them when to go out on stage, like for Angie's play, and sometimes it's just being there to support them. And platform, and just being a mom. But the one thing I do want to say is, I don't know if you have people on your list like I do, but I have people that they don't need another thing in the world.
Exactly.
And before my kids have had a big time giving World Vision or Compassion gifts. Like we gave my dad a cow one time. Like he was able to take the we gave him the gift of giving a cow to another family type thing because he's a farmer. So that's fun. But what you can do is you go to the Lamplight website, on the Catch the Vision, there's a tab over to the left that you can click on. You could become a monthly sponsor or give a one-time gift in someone's honor. They could be helping like these children all year long through that website.
It's awesome. It's making a difference. I know they have church services there at Lamplight, so it's not just a place showing up doing a play or a production. I mean, it's a year-round endeavor for mission work, and it works. Obviously, there's folks, success stories all over the Tri-Cities that got involved in the Lamplight in different ways, and the camp in the summer, and of course the fun night they had last week for all these kids and their families. So it really is neat. Festival of Trees is over. It raised money, a lot of good money for the Lamplight Theater. I'm right in saying that there is no other funding. Whatever you raise and generate, that's it. That's what keeps the doors open.
Yeah, the Festival of Trees was specifically for the
party,
for the party and for their Christmas and any money that's left over for camp next year. But when those tickets, like the suggested price, that barely keeps the lights on. So they usually take up love offerings during the shows.
They do, right.
And amazingly, God knows when the shingles are about to come off the roof, and that needs to be taken care of. And I think they do another fundraiser in the springtime. But really, that's about it. Just counting on God.
Shingles falling off a roof, it's not a big deal for the Lord. I mean, it's like it's very minimal. I mean, he's a great big God, so it is an awesome place. I mean, I'm a big fan. I want to promote this as much as I can get you guys over. I guess what strikes me the most when I go watch these productions is the talent we have in the Tri-Cities. I mean, this young lady knocked it out of the ballpark. The young lady that sang "Oh Holy Night" back during Yuletide, and the guy that came out that talks at the beginning of the kind of gives you instructions. I don't know any of these people's names, but I thought he was exceptional talent. So we really have a lot of good local talent here in the region, more than maybe people realize.
Yes, and if you know the backstories, it's even more incredible because in this Midwinter's Carol this year, for instance, there is a young man who's playing the character of an elderly man that's sort of looked down upon by the rest of the town. He's performed at Dollywood. I mean, he's a professional. And standing next to him, you have, kids like my daughter. And then there's another exceptional young lady who has a beautiful voice that God has given her. And she's got no confidence in herself. She doesn't think she's talented. And when you hear her sing, it's like an angel from heaven. So you've got a whole blend of people who somehow, people like Billy Wayne and Angie, put it all together and make a package that they all work together and look great together. And you don't see one standing out, over another one. They do their curtain call, and it's not just one person; it's the whole group.
Because the goal is to not spotlight's not on me; it's on him.
It's on him.
Sure.
That's right.
So, good stuff. I appreciate you guys coming. Are you hungry? Yeah, exactly. Chick-fil-A food, exactly. So, you guys go through and get something to eat, and we want to get you back in whenever you all can come back and talk. We'll have you come back and talk, because in the 2018 you got a full list of productions. There's also audition dates on the website, so if you want to get involved in some of the productions, you can. And then it also gives you the list of the different productions. I guess the next big one is David coming up in Easter, or Foggy, and there's the Foggy Valley. That is between now and Easter, right? It's like in February. It's right around Valentine's Day, if I remember correctly. So anyway, ladies, thank you for coming. Merry Christmas to you and yours, and Jesus is the reason for the season.
There you go.
Get me fired up. Commence to preaching. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back, and we go from the Lamplight Theater to baseball. So it is a sports show, but I want to get these folks in because I'm a big fan. As I've told you, this is the Lord's show, and the Lamplight Theater is very much showcasing the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So quick break. We'll be right back. We'll go baseball with Greg Salyer here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
This holiday season, those of us at Phil's Dream Pit here would like to make it easy for you to entertain your guests and visitors with our Dream Packs to go. We have pork, chicken, or brisket, and the sides. All Dream Packs come with 3 sides, the buns or toast, and the sauce. We can do these value packs from anywhere from 4 up to 50 to 100 people, just depending on how many you have to feed. Call about the Dream Packs to go at Phil's Dream Pit, 349-6437.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard. We've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Back at the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. Again, thanks to those folks coming by and promoting the Lamplight Theater and Will Graham. See, it's a small world because this man went to seminary with Will Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure
So,
did.
and he's just down home. I mean, in fact, he's coming on the show here next month. He'll be in town, and so he can sit down and talk.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what I keep thinking this, he's just like the rest of us. Just puts his britches on like we do, one leg at a time. But when you say he's Billy Graham's grandson, pretty impressive, but very personable, very down to earth, and he could just sit down and say he's one of us. I guess.
Yeah. Will's got a real funny thing he says. If somebody asks him to introduce them to his grandfather, he'll say, well, you'll have to ask my dad about that because you only get to the father through the son, not the grandson.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard him say that a dozen times to people. It's really funny.
We're talking to my man Greg, of course, talking Major League Baseball. You say, well, Tom, season's over, but it's really active. The Hot Stove League, as we call it, the off season. So we're going to be talking about Mr. Ohtani coming up here in just a second. Also, we got ourselves a new manager, apparently the New York Yankees. What's the latest on the sweepstakes for Giancarlo Stanton? Where's he headed?
Well, I saw something this morning about that, and Derek Jeter is officially on the record as saying that he has no timetable to do anything, and he is not really going to make any announcement, I guess, anytime soon, which means it's probably coming tomorrow.
Exactly.
But, that certainly nothing is in place as of yet. Now, we do know that the Giants and Cardinals both have made offers that have been received by the Marlins, and, of course, they are just kind of waiting to, I guess, evaluate what they can get back in trade for Stanton and to see if he will waive his no-trade clause to either of those teams or if he is holding out for the Dodgers, which, if he is, then, he's kind of put his team in a difficult situation, and they might just say, you know what, we'll just keep you.
Cubs are after him. Rangers are after him. The Mariners are after him. The Dodgers are after him. There's 6 teams. I'm leaving somebody out. We've got the Cardinals. Cardinals are after him. Here's a breaking story. We'll get right back to baseball in a second. South Carolina, this is interesting. Muschamp fires his offensive coordinator before the bowl game. Kurt Roper gone. Co-offensive coordinator Brian McClendon will call offensive plays for South Carolina the Outback Bowl on New Year's Day against Michigan. Coach Will Muschamp will not name Roper's replacement until after the bowl game. He spent the last 2 seasons at South Carolina and also coached with Muschamp at Florida in 2014. Roper was among top candidates for the head coaching job at Rice, his alma mater, but the school was planning to hire Stanford offensive coordinator Mike Bloomgren. And so, anyway, it's interesting. Kurt Roper, the offensive coordinator. Why would you fire an offensive coordinator before the bowl game? Must have had a little snit.
There's something behind that we don't know about. That's for sure.
That's right.
The timing for that is just not right.
No.
So, that didn't work out very well for Alabama when they changed offensive coordinators before their national championship game either. So,
Willie Taggart, new coach of Florida State. We told you that earlier. Lane Kiffin says he comes out and says, I need to be the coach at Oregon. Okay, so this guy's a piece of work, I'm telling you. And so he's obviously a pretty good coach, but man, oh man, you're talking about he is a media guy's delight because you don't know what he's going to say. He is a quote machine. So he says, Oregon needs me. So we'll see if he ends up at Oregon. Hello to John Hayes in Hickory, North Carolina, watching the show. That would be April's, I think she said brother. He's a power lifter. He's a pastor in Hickory, North Carolina. So hello to John Hayes, watches the show. Thank you very much for doing that. Says he gets his sports from us, and I appreciate that. We just kind of come in here and talk, have a good time. We'll get back to this in a second. What do you think? What's the latest on Tennessee football? Besides, it's an embarrassment. So.
Oh boy. Here's what I hope will happen. I hope that I know that it's imperative to get a coach as early as you can for recruiting issues and things like that, but I really hope that Philip Fulmer will take his time and find the right guy for this job. And when I say take his time, not wait until February, but find the right guy that's gonna do a good job at Tennessee, that's gonna make the fans somewhat happy. I don't know, everybody's gonna be happy as a Tennessee fan now, but and I hope he'll find the right guy. I don't know that it looks like Les Miles may not be coming, which we were kind of Hoping.
Yeah.
So.
Chad Morris, the other coach that was on former short list, is. Want something to drink?
Yeah, if we can flag somebody down, that'd be awesome.
Carrie,
but
would you get him a drink, please? And good morning, Carrie. How are you?
I clicked off and on real quick while I said that because I know.
You had the kill button on?
Yeah.
That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
So anyway, Chad Moore's SMU looks like he may be heading to Arkansas. Mike Norvell, who wasn't on the list but should have been, re-signs a new five-year deal with Memphis. He's staying put, so the opportunities are getting slimmer and slimmer.
It's looking more and more like we're coming down to T. Martin. You know, that's what it's looking like.
Had a 2-hour conversation with him yesterday.
And of course, one of the things that that I read about this morning that I thought would have been probably a really good move was Les Miles with T. Martin as the offensive coordinator.
That's what I've been saying for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and
groom him to be the new guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I said. I said Fulmer either be the head coach or the AD. So he goes AD, and I said then go get Les Miles and bring in T. Martin and groom him for the head coaching job. Give Miles a couple of years. He's 64 years old, and then bring T in, let him get his feet wet as a head coach, learning the ropes, and go from there. So anyway, we don't know what's going to happen, but yeah. And see, the problem, I think at this point, you're 2 weeks away from this early signing period now. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, obviously, but I would think those decommit recruits, you probably lost them, I think, for this year, because there's nobody down there to say, except I'm sure Fulmer's reached out to them and said, just set tight, but they don't want to set tight. Kids this day and age don't want to set tight. They want something now. So I would think the recruits, I have nothing to base this on, but I would think just for the nature of the beast, they probably moved on somewhere else. And so if you're going to go get a coach, like Greg said now, to get the recruits in, each day clicks off, I'm thinking, excuse me, probably lost them anyway. So take your time, get the right coach. I had a guy tell me last night, I was in the mall, he said, right now, just should have kept Butch Jones, let him go one more year and just tell him, because now we're in a total disarray, and you're rebuilding the program. You set the program back for a year or two, so it's a quagmire, and Fulmer knows that. He took it on, and so, but we still don't have a coach at Tennessee's what all this is leading up to. So, but Willie Taggart has gone to Florida State, and Mike Norvell has signed an extension at Memphis, and Chad Morris would appear to be heading to Arkansas to be their new coach, although that's not official yet. I just checked, and that is not official. What is official, we're here live at Chick-Fil-A. Do you have your calendar yet?
I do not have a calendar yet, but I will be getting one.
She said there's very few left. 2018 calendar, the Steers of yesteryear. On the back of it is the card that you will keep in your billfold or your purse, and that right there where my finger is, and you swipe that gets you the free food every month for the months of 2018. So they are $8 plus tax. Last week, a guy came in and bought, I want to say 200 when I was in here, and for I don't know who he's giving them to, but it's going out of here. Connor, we still have calendars? Just a few. See, they're flying out of here. And so
I'll be buying at least 5 when I buy one.
There you go. That's what we like to hear. So $8 plus tax while they're available, and there's not many left here, and that's not a sales pitch. It's just the way it is. It's a big fan favorite, if you will, the 2018 Chick-fil-A calendar, the Steers of yesteryear. All right, so let's get back into baseball. Stanton, 5 or 6 teams looking for him, going after him. The checkbook's probably the biggest, and the fattest probably, well, I read yesterday in the story, Texas has got a lot of money, over $3 million to throw around. If the Rangers want to go get him, the Dodgers have got obviously a big checkbook to go get him. I guess it's all where he wants to go. See, he keeps leaning towards the Giants, but man, the Giants lost 97 games last year?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a rebuilding process, but
it's an even year though coming up. So you know how the Giants are. There's even years.
Yeah, that's right.
They tend to do well in the even years, and I mean, and face it. I mean, if you looked at their lineup last year, they didn't scare anybody. They really didn't. But if you put Mike Stanton, Giancarlo Stanton, I still want to call him Mike Stanton.
Mike Stanton.
I'm old.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Giancarlo
Mike
Stanton.
Stanton was though too. So
yeah. So if you put him in the middle of anybody's lineup, though, they're automatically dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to add some wins just by being in that lineup. So, and you know, they've got some other things I'm sure they're working on, and we'll see what happens. Of course, it also comes down to who they have to give in return to the Marlins as well.
We're going to talk about Ohtani coming up here in just a second. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Here's the way you can enter to win tickets to the Chick-fil-A. We're going to give 2 tickets away 2 weeks from today on this show. Somebody's going to win 2 tickets to the sold-out Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Auburn, and Central Florida, 12/30 New Year's Day. You can enter, get your name in the bucket by actually 4 ways. Number 1, place a mobile carry-out order from right here at this Chick-fil-A only. Catering order, including trays, will get you qualified, get your name in the bucket. Other ways to enter, you can find out on Facebook and Instagram by going to CFAJC, Chick-fil-A, CFAJC. And so the giveaway will be announced 2 weeks from today here on our show here at the Chick-fil-A The Crossings in North Johnson City. So CFAJC, another way for you to get qualified on Facebook and Instagram, and that plus a mobile carryout order, a catering order including trays, and then go to Facebook or Instagram at CFAJC. And gosh, it's sold out. So if you want to go, somebody's going to win 2 tickets to go to the Peach Bowl. That'd be a great ball game. Auburn and Central Florida. I mean, Gus Malzahn, who knocked off Alabama and then lost to Georgia in the SEC championship, heading to the Peach Bowl and taking on Scott Frost and the Central Florida Black Knights, who has, of course, since signed a contract to go back to his alma mater, Nebraska. So, but still, it's going to be a good football game.
But he is coaching that game.
Yeah, he is coaching that game. Why would you not try and win it? And you win 2 tickets to a football game that's sold out. So that's what's going on there. All right. Shohei Ohtani.
Ohtani.
See how I phonetically wrote that out?
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani. Young
Ohtani.
man, very versatile player from Japan. What's the very latest?
Yeah, you know, teams are starting to meet with him now, and he's going to be making a decision pretty soon, which I think is interesting. You know, all 30 teams wanted this guy. So what does that say about him? He's a two-way player. He's a pitcher and a hitter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, so that throws a little bit of something in the mix there, you know.
Man.
And I think
Sweet tea, please.
And I think we're going to start seeing some more of those type of players coming around in baseball. You know, in the early days of baseball, that's kind of how it was. Of course, people forget Babe Ruth started his career as a pitcher.
The Boston Braves.
And, well, the Red Sox finished his career with the Braves. But,
I thought they were the Boston Braves before they were the Red Sox.
No, the Braves and the Red Sox were two different teams. The Braves were in the National League.
The Red Sox at one point were the Boston Braves. I know that because I got a book on it.
They may have been. But
way back.
But I know he finished his
anyway.
career with the Braves, who were in Boston at that time. But
you got a good phone. When you get done, I want you to Google. Make sure I'm not totally lost.
I will Google that to
I'm
see.
pretty sure
I will check that out.
The Boston Braves were the Braves for the Red Sox, I think. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, I know they were both together at the same time, and one was American League and one was the National League though as well. But he started with the American League, Boston Red Sox, finished his career with the Boston Braves. But last year in the draft, the number 2 pick was Hunter Green. The Reds took him number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And they were questioning whether or not they were going to draft him as a pitcher or a shortstop. And here's what ended up happening. He played for Billings last year, short season, of course, out there in Montana. And on the days he didn't pitch, he DH'd. So I think we're going to start seeing this.
Got a great story on Hunter Green. My buddy that joins us every Friday from Cincinnati, WLW's Dave Martin, said the Reds caravan up in Cincinnati, the big draw wasn't Zach Cosart, wasn't even Joey Votto. The big draw, everybody clamored to get an autograph and see, was Hunter Green. So this guy was a fan favorite big time on the Reds caravan. Went around a couple of places there in Cincinnati and in Indiana, and they used to come down here, but they don't anymore. But anyway, so this guy's he's which is totally off what we're talking about, but just FYI that he is huge fan favorite again in Cincinnati. This Hunter Green, he was clocking at 102, I think 103 pitching the ball this year, so he can bring it. Needless to say, and that's faster than Aroldis Chapman.
Old.
Yeah, that's faster than Chapman, and Chapman could bring it obviously back in his prime. But anyway,
Green will be a starter
this year.
Well, in the minors, but I mean, he'll be a starting pitcher
versus relief.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
We're talking to Greg Salyer, talking Major League Baseball update. So Ohtani, all 30 teams want this guy.
All 30 teams want him. He has now narrowed his list down to 7 teams. He said, here's 7 teams that I'm willing to play for. He's 23 years old. He can throw 101 himself.
Wow.
He hit a ball with 117 mile per hour exit velocity last year. This guy evidently is the real deal.
He's the real deal, yeah.
Both as a pitcher and a hitter. And there's interesting things about him. He prefers a smaller market, he says. He doesn't really want to play in New York. He's already eliminated everything on the East Coast. The only two teams that are big market teams that are still in it are the Dodgers and the Cubs.
Wouldn't it be great if he signed with the Reds, a smaller market team?
Well, yeah, and they were in it much longer than some of the other teams. They just recently got eliminated. And of course, if you remember what 8 or 9 years ago, I guess it was now, when all the teams were claiming to get Aroldis Chapman, the Reds were the team that got him. So, sometimes that happens. But he wants to go to a smaller market. He wants to play on the West Coast, if at all possible. The size of his potential bonus just seems irrelevant. I mean, there's teams that are on this final 7 list that have small amount of money left. There's teams that have over $3 million left, and some with like a little over $100,000 that they can give him for a bonus. So that doesn't seem to matter whatsoever. And he doesn't really care if he plays in the American League or the National League.
So who do you think will get him?
Well, I think the Mariners are probably the favorite.
No.
I think
right there. The reason I'm asking him, because, excuse me, he said right here last year and told me during spring training, keep an eye on the Astros. They're going to be a team to be reckoned with this year. He said keep an eye on the Twins. They're in a rebuilding mode. They may have a pretty good year. Got to the wild card playoff. Yankees are going to be much improved. He said, of course, the guys you really want to pay attention to because they got the money to do it. And then, of course, long through the season, they went and got Darvish and, then I just went totally blank. And then the Astros went and got the guy from Detroit. Verlander. Thank you, Justin Verlander. So when he talks, I listen because he knows what he's talking about. Obviously, that's why I have him on the show. We certainly respect him for what he knows about baseball. And so you're going to tell me now who you think he's going to be with.
I think it'll probably be the Mariners. I'm not sure about that. I mean, who knows how these Japanese guys think, but they have a great history with Japanese players, with Ichiro, of course. The Dodgers, I mean, they're still in the running, and I mean, their manager was born in Japan, and his mother is Japanese, Dave Roberts. They have a Japanese bullpen catcher. So, who knows what he's going to look at when he's making a decision. But I would have to say I think that perhaps the Mariners have the leg up at this time. Over the last 2 years, he's hit 326, 30 home runs, and 613 plate appearances in Japan, and he's got a 36-13 record with a 2.25 ERA and 10.8 strikeouts per 9 innings the last 2 years. That's not too shabby in Japan. Now,
not too shabby.
He's going to have to come to the majors. I mean, they're not going to sign him and stick him in Triple-A. He's going to be in the majors.
He's an impact player.
He is an impact player.
Yes.
And the days that he is not pitching, other than perhaps the day before he pitches and the day after, because he doesn't like to play on those days, and that's understandable. But the other days, which would be 2 other days of the week, he's going to be hitting. He's going to be somewhere in the lineup.
Wow.
So now if he's in the American League, he could be the DH.
Absolutely.
In the National League, he could be an outfielder. He hasn't played outfield since 2014. So that could be a concern. Some teams think that he could be a first baseman. He's a big guy, and he could be a first baseman. He could be the first pitcher that we see in recent memory, at least I can't think of one ever in my lifetime, to bat cleanup in the major leagues. But it could happen.
We're talking about Shohei Ohtani. You had
two-way player.
Two-way.
Yeah.
Thank you. Two-way player. Why didn't I think that? Two-way player, again, from Japan, and we'll find out where he's going to go. I did read yesterday where Seattle has a large Asian population inside the city of Seattle.
Yes.
And so it's Asian demographic friendly, for lack of better terms. So that may help persuade him to go there versus some other cities. But whoever gets him is going to get a heck of a ball player. We're talking to Greg Salyer. Switching gears, Yankees finally name their manager. Why did it take so long? I guess they were just trying to find the right one, and they named him. Who is he, and what do you think?
Aaron Boone.
Yeah.
Former
Red?
Yeah, former Red, former
They're
Yankee.
everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. Former Reds.
Former Red.
They're everywhere. Goodness gracious.
And the thing about Aaron Boone, the thing that he's most known for as a Yankee was that home run he hit in the playoffs, to move them on. And so he has the name recognition. He has that. He will have the respect of the players, I think, because of what he's shown he can do in Major League Baseball. I hope that he doesn't manage like his dad. His dad was not a good Major League manager. Bob.
Yeah.
If you remember, Bob managed the Reds for a couple of years, and
train wreck.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. He was okay, I think, with his pitching, with how he handled his pitchers, but just the dugout decisions that you have to make, the strategy. A lot of times, I'm sitting there watching these games, going, "What are you thinking?" That was. There's been a couple managers in Major League Baseball that I have thought that about. Bob Boone was one of those guys. I don't think Aaron Boone will be like that. Aaron Boone was playing for that team, actually, at that time, and hopefully, he'll be a little bit different manager than his dad. But I think it's a good move. I think the Yankees have seen that he can handle the big lights there, the bright lights of the big city, I guess you could say, because he's played there. And, I hope he does well. A great guy. I've always loved watching him on MLB Channel, and, hopefully he'll do well.
True confession time. I caught myself, and I thought, I even hate to concede this to you, but I'm going to concede it. So every time I start looking around baseball, I hate to even say this, because you'll go, "I told you. I knew you wouldn't leave." Every time I start looking about what's going on in baseball, I always go migrate to where, see what the Reds are doing. So I thought, much as I can't stand Brian Price and what he did a couple of years ago, and why, and the Samuel, does he still manage that team? Of course, I'm on WLW every Saturday, and we're talking about the Reds, and so I got to step with the Reds, see what's going on. So I thought, Greg Sawyer's going to giggle, because I'm just kind of hanging with the Reds, and it's like I kept dabbling with other teams. I want to follow Daniel Norris at Detroit if he stays there. I hope he does, but I'm going to follow wherever he goes. But I've kind of migrated back to the Reds. I don't know why. I'm like a moron, but anyway.
Maybe. Well, the Reds need pitching. Maybe they'll go out and get Daniel Norris.
Do you really think in 2018 they're going to turn things around? Can they be a better
No,
team?
They got to be better.
Yeah.
They can't be much worse.
Yeah, go ahead and hit that. That's good.
Yeah, it's my turn.
That's your turn at the bell.
Yeah, they can't be much worse. But 2018 is not the year they're going to turn it around.
Okay.
I have hopes for 2019.
The Lord's going to come before they turn them around, but that's okay. If he does, it won't matter anyway.
I have hopes for. Yeah, that's right. We're not going to be thinking about baseball.
No, we'll be out.
So.
Anyway. True confession, I'm coming back into the Reds camp. I left. I was on the fringe trying to find another team and just couldn't find one I really settled on. I like Baltimore because it was a Baltimore guy back when I was a kid. But
yeah,
I like Detroit. Back when I was a little guy, I liked Detroit. In fact, Darius and I going to the COVID the day, we rattled off the starting lineup. Could not remember. I'm going to see if you can get a bonus here. 1967 Detroit team. Could not remember the second baseman of the shortstop. And I don't know. I wanted to say Ed Kranepool, but I don't think that's right with the shortstop, and I forgot to go back and look. So maybe you can look that up, too, before you take off, so you can help the old man here.
Yeah.
67 Detroit teams in the World Series against the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on.
Catcher was Bill Freehan. First base was Norm Cash. Second, third, couldn't tell you. Second and short. Third was Aurelio Rodriguez. Willie Horton, Jim Northrup, and maybe Mickey Stanley was in the outfield, I think.
Mickey Stanley was in the outfield.
And Jim Northrup, and I think Willie Horton.
You say Norm Cash?
Norm Cash was the first base.
Yeah, Al Kaline.
Al Kaline was on that team.
Yeah.
God, how did I forget him? So maybe I don't know. I don't think he played shortstop or second. But anyway, so see, this is what I deal with. This is what I torture myself all the time. I get into these situations and can't remember anything, and now I'm worked up over the Boston Braves. I could have sworn Babe Ruth started with the Boston Braves.
I think it was the Red Sox, Tom.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure about that.
But then it went to at some point the Boston Red Sox or the Boston Braves, either first and then went to the Red Sox, or the Red Sox went to the Braves and went back to the Red Sox. I'm telling you, I'm not lost my mind. At some point, the Boston Red Sox franchise was the Boston Braves.
I'm going to look that up because I'm not sure about that at all.
He is questioning my knowledge of the sport, which is probably with good reason. So, anyway, we got anything else we want to talk about? I'm going to let you. We'll go to the break. And are you digging?
I'm looking. I'm trying to see who was the
second baseman.
Eddie Matthews was on that team, by the way.
67 Detroit team.
Yes. Dick McAuliffe, was he the second baseman?
Dick McAuliffe was the second baseman.
Yeah.
And then the shortstop, I don't know, Aurelio Rodriguez was the third baseman.
Yeah. Johnny Padres was on that team.
Yeah, that doesn't ring any bells. But yeah, Dick McAuliffe was either the second baseman or shortstop. Oh, Eddie Brinkman. That's who it was.
Let me see.
Eddie Brinkman. How do I remember that one? I can't remember what I did an hour ago.
No, not that year.
Oh.
I got the roster right here.
Oh. Well.
See if you can see who the.
See if I can see.
I can't remember who the shortstop was, but
There's people out there
Johnny Clipstein is.
People are screaming. So. Willie Horton, Mickey Lowe's pitcher, Dick McAuliffe was the second baseman or shortstop.
I was thinking Dick McAuliffe, but I wasn't sure.
I don't see anything that jumps out at me. Jim Northrup. This was the 67 roster. Mickey Lolich, Eddie Matthews, Dick McAuliffe, Denny McClain, Jim Northrup, Orlando Pena.
Yeah, I can't figure out who was the shortstop.
No.
Johnny Clipstein, maybe?
No. Or maybe. But Dick McAuliffe was the second baseman.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that one. Shortstop, couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
67 Detroit Tiger baseball team. Now, check before you get out of here, let's hit Boston. Are we done, by the way?
Yeah, we're done.
We're wrapped up, all right.
Okay.
See, if I've totally lost my mind, if the Boston Braves, when Babe Ruth played, he played for the Braves.
He did play for the Braves at the end of his career.
And they were Boston.
And when they were in Boston, yes.
Well, then what are we arguing about?
Because you said he started with the Boston Braves. He started with the Red Sox.
And they changed the name of the Braves?
No, they were a completely different team.
Okay, all right. Well,
Red Sox were in the American League, Braves in the National League.
He finished in the National League?
Yes, he did.
Babe Ruth?
He did.
I did not know that.
Finished his career with the Boston Braves. Played less than a season. Batted about 170. His last 3 home runs in one game for the Braves. And
he played for the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Braves.
He did.
The great Bambino.
He sure did. I will.
See, his approach is he's saying this with very much confidence. Yes, Tom. Yes, he did. Like, you don't know what you're talking about, Tom. Okay.
I will show you.
You like ham or turkey?
I like both. I'll eat either one. Probably turkey, though.
There you go. It's just one of those questions. So,
yeah.
The great Bambino, Boston Braves, Boston Red Sox, and the New York Yankees.
Yep.
See, I bought a documentary at Mr. K's about Babe Ruth, and I haven't watched it yet.
Last major league appearance.
You rascal, you're right. So, I stand corrected, which is not all that unusual. So,
do you know who he coached for?
He coached? Babe Ruth coached?
Yes, he did.
You talking about a team or a person he coached for?
No, a team.
Babe Ruth coached for Cleveland. I have no clue. Baltimore. He's born in Baltimore. I know that.
He was born in Baltimore. I've been really close to his home, but I didn't get over there. I wanted to go, but I didn't make it over there.
Who did Babe Ruth coach for?
Brooklyn Dodgers.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
See, this is why we have him on every week.
He wanted to be a manager. His dream was to be a manager, but he never had the opportunity to manage. But he did coach for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Wow. Good stuff. You here next week?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. By the way, the week between Christmas and New Year's will be off, taking a week off to kind of recharge the batteries, get ready for the new year. So But next week would be the 13th? 13th and the 20th. 2 more shows.
We'll be in the middle of the winter meetings next week.
Yeah, so there'll be lots to talk about. You hungry?
I'm hungry.
See Miss Judy. So I learned things. Boston Braves, wrong. Dick McAuliffe, second baseman of the Detroit Tigers, got that one right, or he got it right. And then Babe Ruth coached with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Had no clue. I'm going to go home and watch that tonight. In your honor, I'm going to watch that documentary ESPN put out. Got it on DVD. Give Mr. K's a plug, I guess. But actually, I didn't. I got it at Book Lovers Warehouse. I stand corrected.
There you go.
I bought that at my sponsor, Book Lovers Warehouse, for $2.50. It's awesome. ESPN documentary on Babe Ruth. I haven't watched it. So he finished up with the Boston Braves and coached the Brooklyn Dodgers.
He did.
There you go.
His last 3 home runs were in the same game.
How does he remember this stuff? I don't know what I did. I don't even know who I had on the first guest here. So anyway, we'll take a quick break. You're the man. Get you some food. See you next week.
Yes, sir.
We'll take a break. He likes the fact that he nailed me. That's good. Yes, sir. We're going to do it, Tom. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Dave Angie due to join us. We've got high school basketball. Busy night last night in hoops. We'll tell you all about that coming up next year. And also some football playoffs this weekend. Not the big boys, but it's big boys for them. Some of the smaller divisions of college football having playoffs, and also the Chilhowie Warriors in Southwest Virginia still alive. They're playing for a state championship. We'll talk about that next year on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the things that owner Tim Smith is most proud of is their hard-earned certifications.
We are an ASE Blue Seal shop, which is important because what it tells the customer is we care enough to get certified, not in one certain area of cars. You have to be certified in 8 different certifications, in 8 different tests you have to take, and you have to be updated on them yearly to make sure that you're up to date. We not only have one of those, we have 3 ASE master technicians here. With the ratio, goes into a ratio, and we're a Blue Seal shop. So it tells you that we care about training and we care about knowing about your car. We want to help fix it right.
American Import and Auto Repair, West Market Street, Johnson City, home of the free loaner car program. Open 6 days a week. Call today, 913-3111.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
We're back on the Tom Douglas Sports Show. Hey, he's getting settled in, ready to go. Let me give you a couple of sports updates. Again, it looks like Chad Morris has taken the Arkansas job. Again, that's the very latest, so that's another one off the list for Tennessee. That's one of the ones that Philip Fulmer had talked to or was talking to. South Carolina fires their offensive coordinator. We told you that earlier in the show. Kurt Roper gone, which is interesting. They fired him before the Outback Bowl on New Year's Day against Michigan. Will Muschamp, again, will use the co-offensive coordinator, Brian McClendon, will be the offensive play caller for the Gamecocks. Roper, last 2 seasons at South Carolina, also coached with Muschamp at Florida in 2014, so he's gone. So I would think, Dave Onge, I would think something's up there. You run your offensive coordinator. By the way, good morning, good afternoon. How are you?
You're doing well. How about you?
I looked up and he slid in like a stealth bomber, and he knew he was here. So
that was timing, wasn't it?
It was good timing. I'm looking down trying to find something, and I look up, and the seat is occupied by my buddy Dave Onge. So anyway, Roper's gone. Kurt Roper, the offensive coordinator. He was rumored to be the head guy going after his alma mater job at Rice, but they hired someone else instead. They hired Stanford offensive coordinator Mike Bloomgren. And so Roper is gone. I don't know if that could be a possibility for Tennessee. Again, Chad Morris, let's see if they've signed a contract, make sure it's a done deal. Again, our man is in the house, ready to go. Chad Morris has agreed to be the next Arkansas coach. 14-22 with SMU, but his team improved dramatically over the past 3 seasons. 2-10, 5-7, 7-5 this season. So $4 million a year annual. So other candidates were Clemson defensive coordinator Brent Venables and Memphis coach Mike Norvell, who has re-signed with Memphis. So pickings are getting slimmer and slimmer for the Tennessee job. So anyway, Chad Morris, new coach in Arkansas. That helps their recruiting. Tennessee still without a coach. What's the latest? What are we doing down in Knoxville?
It looks like everything I'm seeing, these final guys that are being looked at for this job all seem to be defensive coordinators. That's the one thing they have in common. And the thinking behind this, I think, for Fulmer is that he wants defense to be the cornerstone moving forward, and then play good defense and go from there. Which was a winning formula for him when he was in Knoxville. Their defenses. A lot of people look back and they remember Peyton Manning, they remember T. Martin, a lot of great quarterback play there. But it was always defense is what they always relied upon when they needed to, and won a lot of games with it over the years. So that's going to be the way it goes now. If they hire a defensive coordinator, it stands to reason. I do believe T. Martin would be an option to come back and be offensive coordinator, and probably associate head coach would be the title he would get as well. So, definitely when you look at a defensive head coach, they're going to have a really dynamic offensive guy as well. They're looking for a proven recruiter. T. Martin also is a proven recruiter. I think if you have 2 men recruiting very well, I think that'll maybe solidify things. But the one thing you have to ask yourself, whoever they're getting now is going to be more unproven, whoever it is, than Butch Jones was when he came in. So are they better off? They paid $8 million to get rid of Butch Jones and bring somebody else in. And it doesn't look to me like, at least on paper, at least what we've seen so far, that coach is going to be as proven as Butch was.
Well, so the meter's ticking. Chad Morris is gone. He's gone to Arkansas.
Yep.
Mike Norvell, who apparently they never talked to, he's staying at Memphis.
Yep.
Willie Taggart's going from Oregon to Florida State. Lane Kiffin comes out today and says, Oregon needs me.
Yeah.
And this guy is a quote machine, I'm telling you.
Well, I'll tell you this. He has, is it 9 or 10 wins at this point at Florida Atlantic? And I'll tell you about Florida Atlantic. He's not going to be able to do that year in and year out there. It's a situation striking where the iron's hot. There's a lot of good coaching jobs available. And I don't recall Lane Kiffin getting an interview. So I don't know if if people are sold on him, being completely reformed yet. So that's the one thing that you have to look at it at this point. It doesn't seem like his phone's ringing, and that's really interesting to me. It looks like he's going to have to stay at Florida Atlantic maybe another year or two and kind of prove himself a little bit before people are ready to give him a lot of big money to come back up to the big leagues.
Jeremy Livesey is here. We were at his open house last night. Good cookies, by the way. I know you baked them. It's great. They had an open house to kick off the ribbon cutting. We're going to talk to him in a minute. We were there yesterday broadcasting live, but I got my man in the house with us, so UT still unsettled. I know Fulmer had a 2-hour meeting yesterday with T. Martin up in New York.
Yeah.
So the other guys I'm hearing we talked about yesterday on the show was Mel Turner, the Georgia defensive coordinator, Venables from Clemson, Kevin Steele. Keep hearing that name a lot. Kevin Steele, what's the story on this guy?
Yeah, Steele, has a terrible head coaching record. That's been 15 years ago or so. 9-37, and I don't believe – I'm trying to remember how many of those wins were even over FBS teams. It was very few, and not a very good tenure there. Of course, it's been a lot of years between then and now. I just don't know if I'm sold on him as a head coach. Jeremy Pruitt's the name that's really surfaced and started to gain some traction. There's a lot of people that think he's the front runner at this point. Defensive coordinator down there at Alabama, which obviously a great recruiter if you look at the talent they have down there. Now it's hard to tell, is he a great recruiter because he's on Saban's staff and it's easier to get kids to come to Alabama, or is he a guy that kind of puts them at that level that they're at right now?
Well, let's be honest. To a certain degree, Alabama's out. We're going to go because it's Alabama. Now, I don't know how good Pruitt is as a recruiter, but the school sells itself to a point. So I don't know. But what about Brady Hoke? Here's the guy's on staff. He's there. He coached at Michigan. He was part of the interim head coach for 2 games. I mean, we're almost grasping at straws here. I think now Peterson. I keep hearing that name a little bit. Brome from Purdue, but why not Brady Hoke? He's there. Put him in there for a year just to kind of stabilize things and try and smooth the waters. And then Jeremy's over shaking his head no.
No.
Okay.
He had his audition. He had his audition. The LSU game, I thought they were in that ball game till halftime. He comes out after halftime and there's a monsoon. I mean, there's rain sideways and wind. And the referees, they were receiving the second half kick. Referees gave them an option. Said, hey, Brady, you guys want to wait a few minutes. This is going to blow through. It's a very thin line of storms, or you just want to kick it off right now? He said, let's play ball, kick it off. And of course they muff the ball. They're down inside the 5-yard line, almost get pushed back in their own end zone, and the game's over from there. And that's Brady Hoke in a nutshell. They turn around and lose to Vanderbilt badly the next week.
Okay.
I think it's off the table for Brady Hoke at this point.
All right.
And
I hear you loud and clear.
For me, it reminded me a lot of, as a Michigan fan, of what I used to watch back in. I shuddered a little bit, and had bad memories. But no, Brady Hoke's not the guy. Tennessee fans, it's not going to be a big name, but Phil Fulmer's making the decision. So if you trust Phil Fulmer's a football mind, there's got to be some people that, kind of trust in his ability to get the right guy in there.
Well, all right. Someone's told him no. I don't know if he can go back and revisit someone. What about Todd Graham, the guy who got fired at Arizona State? Jim Moore, the coach at UCLA? Yeah. Are those possibilities?
It's hard to say. I think with Fulmer, he seems to have in mind what he wants. I don't know if they fit the mold. I was surprised because he talked to Les Miles, and you don't hear anything about that anymore. So I don't know if that just didn't work out. They didn't see eye to eye. I think Fulmer has a clear idea. He has a clear idea what he wants in a coach, and he's not worried about the name. He's not worried about, really what the fans are going to think. He just wants to bring in the person to get the job done. Of course, everything, his whole tenure as athletic director is going to ride on this. There's kind of a lot at stake for him. But I think he's just out to shut off all the outside noise and try to make the right choice from a football standpoint. And hopefully, given his track record at Tennessee and the goodwill he's built up, hopefully people will have the patience to wait for the new coach to implement whatever's going to get implemented.
We're live here at Chick-Fil-A again. It's hopping as always, but they move them in. I can tell you, they don't waste any time. You get in, get out, and get your food, and either drive through in the lobby. And so, good crowd in here. Again, there's very few calendars left. It's not a sales pitch. It's the way it is. Once they're gone, they're gone. The steers of yesteryear. These are $8 a pop plus tax. Here's the card you swipe for next year that comes with it. Either in your purse or your billfold, you get the free food. And, of course, every month has a different theme. And so the steers of yesteryear, there it is. Again, $8 plus tax. I know a guy came in last week. As I said, I confirmed it during the break. He bought 200 last week. And I don't know who's giving them to, but he gives somebody. I made a company or whatever. So there's not many left. That's not a sales pitch. And once they're gone, they're gone. This particular Chick-fil-A gets more than any or most because of the volume. But even there is a limit. So if you want one, you best be getting one pretty quick, as we got, 18 days left before Christmas as far as shopping possibilities. So college football got it right, you think? Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, and Georgia?
Don't think there was a right answer. I really don't. I don't think that with 4 teams and 5 power conferences that there's ever going to be a right answer in that situation. Because, I personally think if you win one of the Power 5 conferences, you deserve to be in the playoffs. And I think there's probably every year 3 at-large teams from around the country who would fill in nicely. I think once you get beyond 8, there's always a big drop-off. Now that 4th and 5th team, that to me this year, they came down. They had to make a decision whether quality wins were more important or losses were more important, and they looked at the losses. They saw that terrible loss at Iowa, which you can't forgive that. And they said even though Alabama didn't have a win over a top 10 or top 15 football team, and Ohio State had more quality wins, that bad loss was more glaring. So that's where we're at.
Expand the playoffs?
You have to get it up to 8. It wouldn't cost anybody any class time. The first game would happen, over what's Christmas break for all of these schools anyway. You would have that just after Christmas, and then like they do, maybe New Year's Day or the day after, you have the semifinals, then you have the championship game when it always is. So the argument that going from 4 to 8 would somehow catastrophically affect everybody's school schedule is just ridiculous.
Buck basketball tonight. The Bucks trying to redeem themselves. They lost earlier in the season to Northern Kentucky. They're looking for revenge. You got to be by 18 there to start the season. Bucks again 4-3, played good in spots. Coach Forbes trying to find the rotation and get what he wants as they're getting ready to head into conference slate right after Christmas. So Bucks in Northern Kentucky tonight, right down the road to Freedom Mall here in Johnson City. Tip-off at 7 o'clock. Should be a good chance for the fans to get out and see a pretty good team coming to town. Yeah,
ETSU is a team that's going to get better as the year goes on. It's kind of ironic that ETSU played Kentucky because they're similar in the way that they put their teams together. Calipari every year goes out and gets some of the best freshmen from around the country, and they have to play immediately and find chemistry. The way Forbes has done it, he brings in a lot of guys, from a lot of different backgrounds, whether it's junior college or transfers, and they've got to forge together and make a team, and it can be a little messy early. Last year it really came together, and I think he showed he has a knack for that. This team will get better as the year goes on, as they do find that rotation, as they do find who plays well where. But this is kind of the downside of when you bring in a bunch of new players every season. It just takes a while to find out who can do what.
3 upsets last night. Ball State knocks off number 9 Notre Dame. Texas Tech stops number 22 Nevada. Actually 4 upsets. It was Arizona upending number 7 Texas A&M in men's basketball, and 14th ranked Minnesota got beat by 10 at Nebraska against the Cornhuskers. So 4 upsets last night. Tonight, 11th ranked North Carolina hosting Western Carolina. 13th ranked Xavier, the Musketeers hosting Kent. Florida, the Gators hosting Loyola. And number 2 Kansas undefeated hosting Washington. Not a bad matchup. Kansas 7-0, Washington 6-2 in Kansas. So that's your top 25 college basketball for tonight. We're talking to our buddy Dave Angie, switching gears again. NASCAR. Kurt Busch, is he or ain't he going to be at Stewart-Haas next year?
I'll tell you, it's coming down to the wire on that. These teams, they love to have this stuff figured out by now. I mean, it's really rare. You have silly season that happens earlier, and with sponsors and everything else, normally you have this stuff worked out. And I just think that this deal would have been done already. If you don't have Matt Kenseth sitting on the sidelines, it's such an attractive option. I think that's allowing Stewart-Haas to play hardball in terms of contract with Kurt Busch and try to get him to sign for a lot less than what he's been driving for. And you look at the sport. That's what's been so fascinating to me this year is the big market correction on what they're paying drivers. It's there's been a lot of drivers who have gone out to pasture because they don't want to drive for a lot less than they have. A lot of young guys getting a chance. I think that's good for the sport because you have a lot of young drivers in there, a lot of young, hungry drivers looking to make a name for themselves and make the most of an opportunity. And Jeff Birchfield wrote today about how this is the biggest change in NASCAR, probably the most transformative season since the year that 92, I believe it was, when Richard Petty went out and Jeff Gordon came in, and the sport was different after that. So they're hoping to get a bump from it, with these young drivers coming in, and I think there's a lot of excitement. We talk about the young guys a lot this season, and Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson and what some of these guys have already done, and there's another wave right behind them. So yeah, it's going to be fun to watch.
So if you're Stewart-Haas Racing, which is more marketable, which is a more attractive driver? Of course, Monster Energy goes where Kurt Busch goes, but if you have a chance to get Kenseth for a year or two, or Kurt Busch, who do you go with if you're Stewart-Haas?
Whoever signs for less. that's who you go with, and that's where they're at, and that's where the sport's at. And you look at TV ratings and attendance at the tracks. The reality is sponsors aren't willing to pay as much as they used to be a title sponsor of a car. You're seeing a lot of deals get done on some premier rides that are only for 6 races or 9 races, and they're kind of scrambling. You used to see the same sponsor on the car all year long if you look 20 years ago, and there was a lot of competition for that. As that's fallen off, they're having to cut deals with sponsors, so that means the easiest area to cut back is what you're paying drivers, and it just comes down to this is the year that people really started to notice that's what's going on, and but yeah, that's pretty much what it comes down to. I think both of those guys. Kurt Busch is really good with his sponsors. Matt Kenseth is legendary for being, taking care of his sponsors. He's always done a great job with that. So, I think they're fine with either driver. I think Kenseth, quite honestly, might be a little bit of an upgrade from a driving standpoint from Kurt Busch. But, they have 2 good options. They can't go wrong with that.
Michael McDowell, Landon Castle, David Reagan, Danica Patrick, Matt Kenseth, and I guess you got to say Kurt Busch, that I know are guys are without a ride, and Lady. I don't know if Danica's coming back or not. Would look like she's not, although she continues to say she's got a deal. I know she's going to do the Danica double, doing the Indianapolis and the Daytona next year. But you got, and of course, some of those guys, let's face it, they've not been successful in the sport. These young guys are coming up, so their days are probably behind them about getting a ride because there's such a bumper crop of guys coming up, and some ladies too that we talked about last week that NASCAR's trying to push to get into the sport. So David Reagan and McDowell, and there's a great interview, great Christian guy, and also Landon Castle. Their days may be numbered in the Cup Series, but yes, there is a definite youth movement going on, and so it's interesting. Yeah, you're right. Jeff Birchfield did a great article here in the paper today. Terrible to this. There it is. NASCAR facing a season of change. Jeff's a regular contributor to the show, and so it's a very good read, and it's a good reference point I'm going to keep for 2018 racing season, which is not that far away. Anything else in the sports world you want to talk about? We've hit baseball, or actually I haven't hit baseball. We hit baseball with Greg Salyer.
I'll tell you, it did my heart good yesterday to see that Michigan plane land down there in Oxford, Mississippi, and Harbaugh's down there grabbing up some of those Ole Miss players that are going to be allowed to transfer immediately after their penalties. And Shea Patterson, quarterback of Mississippi, it looks like a done deal. He'll be starting quarterback, or at least in the competition at Michigan next year, which would be a major upgrade, I believe, at quarterback. And a couple other players may come up our way. So that's just a wonderful feeling to see him out grabbing up some talent.
Is the heat on this guy yet?
No.
Okay.
Not announced. I'm telling you, next year will be better than this year. Year after that, we're going to be pretty loaded. So, the recruiting classes have been there. Just have to have some patience and let it build. I
saw he and Mark D'Antonio continue to fire shots. The Michigan State coach. They don't like it. They calls him big. I don't know what that means. What does that mean when it says BIG? So glad to see BIG turn it around from 3-9 a year ago. What's it mean when he calls him big?
Yeah, I'm not privy to that. There's got to be something there. But
a little dig.
Yeah. There's going to be several digs, and that was a frustrating game to lose this year. There were a couple of them, and but you look at the big picture and you can see a program that's building pretty well there. So pretty excited.
You hungry?
I could eat, man.
You hit it, Bubba. Go hit it. You here next week?
Yeah, sure.
You vacating any? I don't know. I can't keep up with your social schedule.
No.
You're in for a while?
I'm in for a while, yeah. for a good long stretch. So.
By the way, he was our co-host of the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show this year, and we're very excited to announce we're back next year for year number 2. So not because I'm on it, and I kind of engineered the thing, but I thought the show was fantastic with you and Carmichael and Joe Avento and Doug Fritz, Kevin Harmon. I mean, I thought the show was an excellent show. It got college, it got high school, it got East Tennessee State, it got UT. I mean, I thought the show was a great show to watch, and apparently folks did too, because it really gathered, it kept growing each show. And I understand it's the first year. Next year is the sophomore season. We got to take it to the next level. But I want to thank you publicly, because you were a huge part and huge piece of the puzzle, and tickled to work with you. I knew when I asked you to do it, it was going to be a home run, and you didn't disappoint.
Yeah, I want to thank you for involving me in that, and I agree with you. I think it's the guests that were on the show that really made it, because whoever we talked to about all these different subjects, I mean, that's an expert. We went out and got people that know exactly what's going on, and really you spend 2 hours and you're going to know as much as you need to know about local high school and the college football around here and even nationally. So, 2 hours well spent every week, and I'm glad more people are finding the show and excited about next year.
Yep. More folks are finding this show, too, and I appreciate that very, very much, too. This is the Lord's show, but appreciate what you're doing and what you out there watching, liking, and sharing it. So as I let him jump out, I'll see you next week.
All right, man.
Yep. Let me let him go and let Jeremy get in here. Excuse me. Cash for Christmas. Check this out. Share or retweet the images. You can win $100 cash. Again, we're going to give it away next Friday. We'll be at Food City in Blunt, Vegas. One $100 cash winner, some other multiple prize winners. So every time you share or retweet this show, it equals one entry. There's no limit on the number of entries you can make. So, and folks are doing it. And again, we saw today April said to say hello to her brother, Pastor John Hayes in Hickory, North Carolina. He's a brand new viewer of the show. He says, I get a lot of my the sports I need from your show. And I can't thank him enough for that. We do local, getting ready to do some high school basketball before we get out of here from last night. Regional sports, national sports. The only thing you won't hear on here, again, is the National Football League. And there's a reason that these yahoos decide to kneel for the national, or stop kneeling for the boycotting the national anthem. I'm not going to promote them. And I've said that time and time again. So if you're tuning in for the first time, go, yeah, I'm talking about the NFL. No, not going to. My father served Semper Fi in the United States Marine Corps, World War II in the Pacific Theater. And if you can't stand for the national anthem and stand for the flag, then you don't need me to promote your show. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great night last night. We promoted it yesterday, Movement Mortgage, talking about a shaker and a mover. Angie was talking about experts about what they do, and we did have him on that show. This guy's an expert at what he does. That would be Movement Mortgage, and I thought it was a great turnout. And
yes,
had a ribbon cutting, and Chamber was there, and I got in there. It was still 7 o'clock. I got in about 20 till 7. Place was still loaded and crowded, and good time, right?
A good crowd.
Yeah, understandably so. So, how many closings so far in December? You told me yesterday.
We got one today. So.
Am I holding you up?
No, not really.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
You okay?
Yeah, it's good. No, I got today we got a couple, I think, tomorrow and Friday, so we got 3 this week, I think, and then 22 for the month, so
22 closings?
Yeah, something like that.
Now, you told me yesterday you've already hit the $5 million.
Yeah, for this month we'll be closing just over 5 for the office, so it's not bad for December. So we're not used to that. It's actually kind of strange.
Because typically, am I right? Typically, the housing market kind of cools during the holidays. People kind of get away.
I mean, you got a lot of people don't want to move when it's cold, for one thing, and we've had actually unseasonably warm weather, so except for today, obviously. But most people don't want to move kids during the school year, and don't want to move right around the holidays. But this year's been strange.
Yep.
So.
JeremyLivesey.com is where you want to go. This guy can take care of you. And again, I go back to it all the time. Speed. You can get them turned around how quick?
Usually about 2.5 weeks. I mean, if we need to.
But you get qualified at 6 hours, right?
Oh, yeah. No, we can do a pre-qualification on the phone in about 15 minutes. But, if you want an underwriter's approval and stuff, it takes about 6 hours. And, I took a pre-qual this morning and, took about 10-15 minutes.
Where are they from geographically? I don't want to know who
Actually, they're here, but they're in Kingsport. They're just upsizing to a bigger house. But talked to a lady this morning. She's moving here from Oklahoma City. And I got a couple from Florida. It's people moving here.
It's a lot of folks, and you said a lot, right?
Yeah.
A lot of folks moving in.
Yeah, a lot of people moving in this area. The cost of living's low, no income tax, and 4 seasons for the most part, except for this year.
Well,
and we kind of skipped fall and went right to winter today.
Yeah. Quality of life, great.
Yeah.
Crime rate, not much here. I mean, it's here, but not like big cities.
Yeah,
and
traffic's not bad.
No.
It's an easy place to get around, and people like that. And especially we're getting a lot of retirees. And we do have people moving in for employment that really, I mean, this area offers everything.
A traffic jam on North Rhone Street, about 4 or 5 cars. That's what we consider a traffic jam.
Yeah, we get mad when you miss the red light. Yeah, yeah, it's not good.
So I was in Asheville the other day, and we were backed up in traffic, and been to Knoxville, of course, and backed up in traffic. But here, and that's one of the many selling points. JeremyLivesey.com, Movement Mortgage, your license in Tennessee, and
since Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky, Georgia, and then I will be doing North Carolina starting in January. I didn't do all my continuing education stuff, so I just let it go for this year. But starting in January, we'll be in North Carolina.
Who's your team in the NBA?
I really don't have one. I watch NBA and keep up with. I don't have a clear-cut favorite. I do like LeBron. I respect him a lot as far as his talent, so I kind of follow him.
They're playing the Sacramento Kings tonight.
They've got an easy run here the next couple of weeks, so they're gonna they'll run that streak up to about 20 probably.
Celtics for real, you think?
Yeah.
They are the real deal? Golden State will be in Charlotte tonight to battle the Hornets. Wasn't that the game you was going to go see?
No, I was supposed to go see the Cavaliers and the Hornets.
Okay.
But Curry's out hurt, so I mean, not that the Hornets are going to give him much of a run. I mean, they've only won 9 games this year. So, it'll be interesting to watch. Maybe the bench can play.
There's my boys.
Yeah, Spurs.
Quietly 16-8.
Yeah.
Guys are phenomenal coach.
You won't hear anything about them till playoffs.
Yeah. This kind of stay under the radar.
Yeah.
They're playing with, I don't know, I'm not sure Parker's even back. I haven't followed him that much.
Playing with a bunch of no-names right now. I mean, that just tells you how good of a coach Popovich is.
Oh, it's incredible. He may be the best ever. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's not to slight Pat Riley or Red Auerbach, but this guy takes the pieces every year. Everybody said when Duncan's gone, they'll fall apart.
No,
they didn't.
They just keep going, and it's amazing.
When Ginobili and Parker are in the twilight of their career, they said they're going to go downhill. They're 16-8. I don't know where they are in the standings, but they're having a pretty good
right
year.
Up there. They're second or third in the West. So I mean, I just don't know once they get to playoff time will they be able to handle the Rockets and OKC and all them with the speed they got, but.
They're hanging so far.
Fundamentally, they're fantastic.
Tennessee football coach, I'm over talking Brady Hoke, and Jeremy's doing this. No way, Jose.
He's the best.
Well, I did that to just kind of prime the pump, so it worked. I got you both riled up a little bit. So I asked you this yesterday. I'm going to ask you again. There's a day later. Another coach off the map now. Chad Moore's going to Arkansas. Mike Norvell is staying at Memphis. Those are official.
I'm not even sure they asked him.
I don't even think they went after the guy.
He just telling me he wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, so your checkbook's open. The coaches, who would you go get now at this point?
I think what I said yesterday, I think Venables is where I'd go. I mean, he's the popular choice right now. I mean, Clemson, they're a good team.
Apparently Les Miles is all. I mean, I don't hear any more about him, whether he's not being contacted or he's told him no. Gruden's gone. Kiffin's gone. I mean, we're down to second-tier coaches, I guess, now. But
I really wish they would have got Miles just to bring in maybe T. Martin to be an offensive coordinator and kind of groom him for the job and then turn it over to him, because I don't think T. Martin wants to be a head coach right now.
Yeah.
And but then I said if he gets Venables or something like that, I just don't know if T would jive with him or not. So
you got to get somebody. Yeah. But I know Fulmer's beating the bushes to make that happen, so we'll see.
Supposedly we were told it was supposed to be done yesterday. He's going to announce somebody, but maybe him in next Tuesday.
Yeah. As Neyland Stadium turns like a soap opera. So, JeremyLivesey.com, Movement Mortgage.
At least they're getting covered.
That's it.
Yeah.
And his lovely assistant, Brittany Kasem, they do a wonderful job. JeremyLivesey.com, give him a call. And again, you take care of FHA and VA loans as well, right?
Do what now?
Do FHA, VA,
USDA.
Yep.
First-time home buyer for THCA. Regular conventional loans. We'll do pretty much everything but land.
There you go.
Yeah.
Set tight. We'll take a quick break. We'll come right back before we get out of here. We'll run down high school basketball from last night. Who won, who did what, and who's playing today. And kind of wrap this thing up right after this. Here we're live at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City, and the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
This holiday season, those of us at Phil's Dream Pit here would like to make it easy for you to entertain your guests and visitors with our Dream Packs to go. We have pork, chicken, or brisket, and the sides. All Dream Packs come with 3 sides, the buns or toast, and the sauce. We can do these value packs from anywhere from 4 up to 50 to 100 people, just depending on how many you have to feed. Call about the Dream Packs to go at Phil's Dream Pit, 349-6437.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard. We've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
It's model year closeout with gym employee pricing and 20% off on 17 models at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. It's a great time to take advantage of closeout savings on our selection of over 300 Chevys to choose from. 17 1500 work truck, $23,995. 17 track, $17,548. 17 cruise, $16,488. 17 spark, $10,950. 17 Malibu, $18,985. Closeout savings, Saturday parts and service hours, and shopping online 24/7 will leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
And so we appreciate him very much being with us. Let's run down again real quick as we promised college football. Again, we thank you for being with us here again on the show. Quarterfinals on Friday, Weber State at James Madison. This is the NCAA FCA playoff glance quarterfinals. Weber State 11-2 at James Madison, 12-0 at 7 o'clock on Friday night. On Saturday, Wofford, the Terriers, will be at North Dakota State. Wofford 10-2 out of the Southern Conference. North Dakota State football team's 11-1. New Hampshire at South Dakota State. New Hampshire 9-4. South Dakota State at 10-2. Kennesaw State 12-1 at Sam Houston State 11-1. So you have 2, 4, 6, 8, the final 8 in the NCAA FCS playoff. All those are coming up this weekend. Then you have the NCAA quarterfinals of Division II. West Florida 10-3 at Indiana, Pennsylvania 12-0. That's coming up on Saturday at noon. Harding 11-3 at Texas A&M at Commerce, who's 12-1. That's a 3:30 kick on Saturday. Then the NCAA Division III teams are playing the semifinals. Mount Union 13-0 at Wisconsin Oshkosh, 12-0 at 1 o'clock on Saturday. And Brockport 13-0 at Mary Hardin Baylor, 13-0 at 3:30 on Saturday. And that's the lineup again for the football playoffs going on in NCAA Division II and III in college football. All right, let's take a look at high school basketball from last night. Here's your winners in boys action. Daniel Boone by 15 over Cherokee. Crockerby Volunteer by 7. Dobbins Bennett a 21-point favorite over Johnson County. Gatlinburg Pittman beat Morristown West by 7. Greenville a 3-point win over South Green. Sullivan East boys an 11-point win over Elizabethton. Hancock County beat Washburn 63-36. It was Science Hill all over Tennessee High, 81-43. Sevier County beat Cobb County by 9. Sullivan Central over Happy Valley 70-47. And Unicoi County defeats Sullivan South by 34, 65-31. Excuse me, boys play. In Southwest Virginia, Eastside over Lee, 75-49. J.I. Burton beat Holston 66-37. And University High doubles up Twin Springs 80-40. And boys high school basketball from yesterday, excuse me, and last night. Girls winners, Morristown West 8-point win over Gatlinburg Pittman. Daniel Boone's ladies over Cherokee 70-39. South Green beat Greenville 64-45 in girls play. Volunteers Lady Falcons over Crockett by 8. Dobbins Bennett's Lady Indians 22-point win over Johnson County. Sullivan East beat Elizabethton's Lady Cyclones by 20. Science Hill's Lady Hilltoppers over Tennessee High 70-37. Sullivan Central's Lady Cougars beat Happy Valley 54-52. And South's Lady Rebels make it 4 in a row. They beat Unicoi County 49-45 in girls basketball from yesterday and last night in Northeast Tennessee. High school football, state championship, Virginia. Chilhowie, the Warriors, taking on Riverheads. Riverheads 11-2, Chilhowie 11-3. That'll be at noon on Saturday at Salem City Stadium in Salem, Virginia. Region 1 4A football awards announced. The player of the year, no surprise, he's Mr. Football in Tennessee, Cade Ballard from Greenville. Co-offensive players of the year, Jacob Bunch, Granger County. That guy could run the football. Carter Everett, Elizabeth, and he can throw the football. And Ethan Ward of Sullivan South, he can run the football. Co-defensive players of the year in the conference, Cujo, Cameron Coleman, Elizabethan, and Jacques Gillespie Taylor from Greenville. The co-athlete of the year in the 4A football conference would be Seth Crawford of Greenville and Corey Russell of Elizabethan. Offensive lineman of the year, Nick Rideout, Greenville. Defensive lineman of the year, Logan Shipley, Greenville. Specialist of the year, Eli Shepard, Greenville. Coaching staff of the year, the Greenville Green Devil coaching staff have got them yet another state championship. You know, when you talk for 2 hours, that's what happens. First team, 4A football team, Greenville, Jamian Thompson, Dorian Goddard, Cameron Height, Kenny Kershaw, Trent Knight, Garen Shuffler, Dalton McLean, Javion Gillespie, Ty Youngblood, and Chris Everhart. Elizabethan, first team, 4A football, Chandler Mullins, Jared Grindstaff, Joseph Collins, Nestor Grubb, Ryan Wetzel, Tyson Vance, Evan Perkins, Kilroy Hill. Sullivan South, first team all-conference, Nathaniel Barrett, Riley Grills, Matthew Kelly, Austin Mons, Camden Necessary, Luke Pollock, and Gavin Parker. First team all-conference, Sullivan East, Caleb Bear, Aaron Blaylock, Ethan Whitley, Gavin LaPrade, hope I'm saying it right, and Tyler Lopez for Sullivan East. And Sullivan Central's first team all-conference, Austin Fleener, Jackson Harrison, and Kelton Moody. And so that's what's going on there. Buck basketball tonight, 7 o'clock tip-off, the Bucks at Northern Kentucky at Freedom Hall here in Johnson City. Tip-off at 7 o'clock tonight for the Buccaneers and the Norse NORSE from Northern Kentucky. And so that's what's going on there. And college basketball involving the Buccaneers excuse me, of East Tennessee State. Probably a good time to stop because we're pushing it. I want to say thanks to Dave Angie, our buddy from the News and Neighbor, Greg Salyer, Major League Baseball update, also the young ladies and Aiden from the Lamplight Theater, Angie Grigsby and Aiden's Grigsby, and April and Elizabeth Clash from the Lamplight Theater in Kingsport, Darius Hensley way back to start this thing from the Cove, Western North Carolina. So appreciate all these folks very much. We're in overtime mode. We're about 20 minutes over, and that's okay. It's our show. We can do what we want. So we are out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. Rejoining you tomorrow, Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Highway Motor Mile, Johnson City, here in Johnson City. Full lineup ready to go. Then on Friday, got a full slate as well. We'll be at Food City on Eastman Road in Kingsport, getting ready for the Food City Friday and, of course, the holiday open house. We'll talk more about tomorrow. It's going to be going on to all Food Cities this coming Saturday. So we're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. We will rejoin you again tomorrow from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock or thereabouts at Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Highway Motor Mile in Johnson City. Until then, this is Tom Taylor, your host, wrapping up show number 648, saying as always, win or lose, be a good sport. Thanks for giving us a watch and a listen, and we'll talk to you tomorrow at 11 o'clock from Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Highway Motor Mile, Johnson City. Until then, so long, everybody.